broadcast is a presentation of Wall Radio Sports and copyright Neversink Media Group. Middies football fans, get ready. Settle in for some incredible football action. This is Middletown High School football on Wall Radio. Stay here so you don't miss a single minute of the excitement. Who's ready for some football? Middies football. All right, let's go. Let's go to the field for some gridiron glory.
You're listening live atop the press box here at Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School. It's officially week one, and your Middletown Middy Bears look to bounce back after a tough loss to Rye in their week 0 matchup. But today, they go head-to-head with Section 9 foes Warwick at the single A level. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to Middletown Middy Bears High School football here on Wall Radio, presented by ADAC, the Alcohol, Drug, and Awareness Council of Orange County. I'm Michael Palumbo, and joined alongside me today up in the booth is Norris, Gipson. And last week was tough. Should be a good matchup again this week as we get back into Section 9 play. But what are your thoughts coming into this game, Norris?
I'm excited. I want to see Middletown do really well against, like you mentioned, a Section 9 opponent. So, I know Rye was a really great team. I just hope that Middletown bounces back from that. They're on the field now in their blue and white, and they look really good and fresh. So I hope that this carries on throughout the game, so that way they can, present themselves in the best way possible.
Yeah, talking to Coach Trenfeld earlier in the week, he said he was looking forward to this matchup again because it's getting back into Section 9. They knew Rye was going to be a tough matchup, and he said that's the beauty of week 0 as well, because it's not a game that really goes against you. It'll show up in the win-loss column, but it doesn't affect your road to the playoffs here. So, looking ahead to today's matchup, again, tough loss to Rye, and Rye went on to beat Somers last week. Their in-town rival, section rival, and Somers, 3-time defending New York State champions at the Class A level. Rye beat them 17-7 last night, so that also gives you insight just to how good of a football team Rye was. But it was the main thing for Middletown last week was their defense. Their defense could not get off the field. They only stopped Rye twice, but that was really due to a long field goal attempt as the seconds were winding down at the end of the second half, and then late in the fourth quarter when Rye just started to kind of chew the game clock. So that's going to be my biggest key coming in to this game, is how can the defense do against this Warwick offense, who proves to kind of be a difficult matchup because they have a three-pronged attack with their quarterback, run game, and pass game. Quarterback Dini Lukovic can throw and run. But last year for Warwick, they had a great season. They started off 7-0 before dropping their last 2 games, their last regular season game and a playoff game. But they had a decisive victory in their week 0 matchup against Wagner. The second year in a row they've started their seasons against Wagner in Middletown. Second year in a row they beat Wagner to open up the season. Last week they won 29-14. And like I'm talking about, their quarterback, Duni Lukovic, he threw 4 touchdown passes. So it's going to be another scary matchup at quarterback for this Middletown defense to try to stop. But don't go anywhere and don't touch that radio dial, because we have so much here on this pregame show to get into. Next up, we'll hear from Coach Trenfeld on this week and how he felt his team did against Rye. Then we also have a interview with 2 brothers on this Middletown Middy Bears team, the quarterbacks, Anthony Russo and Vincent Russo. Then we go to the out-of-town scoreboard, and we have a little insight on the youth football programs here in Middletown, and so much more. Again, you're listening to Middletown Middy Bears High School football on Wall Radio, presented by ADAC.
September is National Recovery Month. ADAC's peer engagement specialists are people who have lived experience in recovery. They provide person-centered support to individuals over 18 struggling with substance use. Through lived experience, respect, and mutual understanding, peer engagement specialists help people become and stay engaged in the treatment and recovery process. To reach a peer engagement specialist, please call our Hope line at 1-844-984-HOPE. All services are free and confidential.
And we welcome you back here again. You're listening to Wall Radio that's presenting Middletown High School football here at Fowler Field as they take on their Week 1 matchup, second game of the season against Warwick Wildcats. But earlier this week, I got a chance to sit down with Coach Strenfeld and talk about his Week 0 matchup against Rye and how he thinks this team will fare coming into their Week 1 matchup against a Section 9 opponent in Warwick. Take it away, Coach Strenfeld.
What was the confidence or the demeanor of the team after the loss against Rye, and what was your message in the locker room, and then how did they respond in practice this week?
Actually, I felt at the end of the game, if I sort of went down there and said anything bad, it would be like beating a dead horse because of how the game went. But what I told them was that obviously the scoreboard was not what we wanted it to be. However, as the game progressed and we sort of knew the outcome before the outcome actually happened, the guys never gave up on each other. And to me, that's a big deal. And they stuck together, whether it was the ones, the twos, the threes, whoever it was out there, and they cheered for each other. And I've been here for a long time, so I've seen teams from Middletown just sort of start attacking each other and blaming each other. And no one did that. And to me, that was showed me a lot of growth in the kids. Obviously, they had a very good football team, and we had a lot of new guys out there really playing for the first time. I think they understood the message. I think this week has been a good week of practice. Again, we sort of know a little bit more about Warwick. We sort of went into Rye blind. We only had games from last year, so we didn't have a lot to go off. So we just played football, and that was a very good team. So it was nice to play them, but it's good to be back.
But Aiden Barbosa seemed to get locked up in coverage. By Rye, it seemed like they doubled him, like they knew he was going to be a threat right away in the game. But as a coach, how do you adjust for that moving forward to kind of keep him involved throughout the entirety of the game?
We worked on it this week. We saw on film when they played Somers last year that they did that. To us, we were sort of thinking that was their section championship. So we didn't think that they were going to do it in game 1, especially since they're playing Somers next week. I don't know if they wanted to show that. But I think he knew what we had coming back, and he knew that Aiden was a pretty good threat, really our only returning threat, because everybody else was not known last year because they didn't play varsity football. I mean, that coach is obviously going to be the all-time winningest coach by the end of September in New York history, so they know what they're doing over there. And they got good players. So we worked on that this week to be able to move him around a little bit more and to sort of utilize that if they do double team in the future, how we could use him as a decoy also. It was an eye-opener for us too, because getting Aiden involved is something that we want to do. But when you double him, it's tough to make that happen. We moved him around in the second half a little bit, but we weren't prepared for that. It was nice to actually have to do that, because now we can do it going forward, and we know we can do it.
And then quarterback Anthony Russo, I feel like the stats didn't reflect how he played, because I thought he did a pretty good job behind center. And the offense seemed to open up a little bit in the second half when you started to use him in the run game. I would like to know, are you going to continue to utilize his mobility moving forward? Are we going to see that a little bit more in this upcoming game against Warwick?
We didn't know, because honestly, we never, with our old offense, it was never a quarterback running offense. So we knew that this offense had that capability to add it in, but we weren't sure what Anthony could do. So seeing him being able to run with the ball like he did against them, that sort of gave us like, hey, all right, this is definitely going to be a part of our offense. So you will definitely see it down the road. And as we go, knowing that it is in our back pocket that we can use it. And I mean, he's a player on the field, so let's let him play.
Then on the other side of the ball, the defense, they seem to have a tough time getting off the field now. I know Rye, they had a lot of good offense, but what areas are you hoping to see your defense improve upon this week against Warwick?
All of it. It was definitely, you can tell that there was 10 new guys out there. Aiden really being the only returning starter that we had. We didn't really know what we had on the defense. I'm hoping that Rye was that good and that our defense didn't struggle as mightily as not being good. I know we have players. I think that we had a lot of kids not making the right reads. I mean, as we watched film on Monday, the kids sort of saw, it's like, hey, listen, you're not that far away, but that little bit that you are far away, that is an extreme distance when it comes to varsity football. Because a lot of them playing JV football last year, or even one of them playing modified football last year, it's a huge difference when it's 1 or 2 yards just lining up. So I think they learned a lot from the film after watching the Rye game. And we tried to fix a little bit of it in practice this week so far. Today is our defensive day, so we're really going to hype on a lot of the things that we talked about, or harp on it, I should say. So we'll see. Hopefully it gets better in Warwick.
Thank you for your time, Coach.
All right, no problem, Mike. I'll talk to you soon.
And as you hear coming in, there should be a lot more to look forward to in this week one matchup against the Warwick Wildcats. A lot more offensive type of strategies that we'll see. But again, don't touch that radio dial. We have much more coming up. And coming out of the break, we'll go to the out-of-town scoreboard. You're listening to Wall Radio here. You're listening to Middletown Midi Bears High School Football on Wall Radio, presented by ADAC.
Great service, great staff, great reputation. That's Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating, working hard to maintain the reputation they've built over more than 25 years in business. The Steve Dodd team is your go-to for exceptional service, maintenance, and new installations of heating systems, water heaters, and water pumps. Their experienced, licensed, and insured professionals are here for you. From simple repairs to full renovation, call 845-386-2217 and have your heating system checked for the season. Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating. Call today. Mid-City Transit is a proud supporter of the Middletown High School football team, and right now they're looking for drivers to join their team. To apply today, visit midcitytransit.com. Since 1935, Mid-City Transit has been transporting the students of Middletown School District, always committed to providing those students with a safe, reliable bus service. Mid-City Transit is also available for charters, wedding shuttles, family reunions, and trips. Everyone at Mid-City Transit wishes the Middletown High School football team good luck this season. Go Middies!
This is Middletown High School football on Wall Radio.
And welcome back here. As we're promised, we're going to go to the out-of-town scoreboard. There are a lot of great matchups this week. Only 2 games, including this one, on today's Saturday. Besides Warwick and Middletown here at Fowler Field, Burke and Chester square off. But there was a ton of games. Starting Thursday, Beacon defeated New Paltz by forfeit. Beacon, I believe, didn't have enough players, so they had to forfeit the contest. And then Friday, there was a huge slate. And the biggest game that day was Cornwall versus Newburgh. And Cornwall pulled off the upset against what looks to be powerhouse Newburgh, winning 17-14 over the Goldbacks. Roosevelt defeated Valley Central 21-9. Washingtonville with a thrashing of White Plains, beating them 42-20. Red Hook beats Spackenkill 49-14. O'Neill beats Liberty 40-6. Goshen topples Kingston 48-28, and Monroe Woodbury bounces back after a week 0 loss to Saratoga Springs, winning 26-6 over Our Lady of Lourdes. Neversink beats Pine Bush 21-16. Wallkill destroys Monticello 43-8, and Port Jervis, the defending Class B champions, took down Roundout Valley yesterday, putting up 61 points to round out 6, and Saugerties beats Marlborough in a slow-paced game 7-0, and then finally Dover beats Highland 12-6. That is your out-of-town scoreboard. We'll try to update you as best as we can on the Burke and Chester game that is today, but that will do it for the out-of-town scoreboard. You're listening to Middletown Midi Bears High School football on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
Ready to transform your home this fall? Come into RHP, your Benjamin Moore dealer, today and let them help you find the colors that will make your home perfect for the season. Expert advice, personal service, quality products. RHP, 416 East Main Street, Middletown in the Jervik Plaza. They're big enough to service any size job, but still small enough to care.
The Hudson Valley's greatest hits.
The songs that last a lifetime.
famous Wall Radio. After the game, keep it here for the Hudson Valley's greatest hits. This is Wall Radio.
We'll welcome you back here to Fallow Field. We sit atop the press box overlooking all the pregame festivities. The JROTC team, the drill team, walking out to midfield as they prepare for the national anthem. Huge group of cheerleaders out there as they bring in the youth cheerleaders for this Middletown cheer squad, and the refs congregating out by the 40. But again, I got another chance to sit down with some of the players at Middletown High School a few weeks ago, and it's a great story here. The quarterbacks here for the Middletown Midi Bears are brothers. Starting quarterback Anthony Russo and backup quarterback Vincent Russo, and now we look forward and hear about their story.
What is it like for you guys being two brothers on varsity getting to compete with each other?
It's definitely a great experience. We've grown up playing football together. We started playing football in the front yard together. Like, we know how each of us plays, and we were always competitive when we were growing up. We have other brothers that we'd play football with, and it'd always be me against Vinny, usually. So the competition is definitely there, and I think it adds a lot to the team.
Yeah, I would say the competition part is fun, but it also it's kind of nostalgic in a way. Like, showing up at practice every day, and it's like you're playing front yard football again with your brother almost. When we warm up and we're like having a catch, it's like this is what we've done for the last however many years. So it feels like home again almost when we come to football practice. That's what I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
I heard this story from Coach Strenfeld too. I understand, Anthony, you used to always wear the number 13. But at the end of last season, you kind of gave that up and gave it to Vincent. So what was going through your mind, and why did you do that?
So our older brother actually started wearing 13, and that's how it kind of originated. I had been between numbers 13 and 4. And so me and Vinny had definitely talked about it. And I was like, hey, I mean, I might as well give him 13, let him continue the 13 train going. So I chose 4.
All right. And then Vincent, what did that mean to you when Anthony kind of passed that number down to you?
It means a lot, obviously, going back to, like Anthony said, like our older brother, he was the first of us to play football, and he wore 13. And then my first year playing modified football, I was going to wear the number 15, actually. And then when I went up to choose my number, someone had gotten 15, so I wore 13 my 7th grade year. So I had continued wanting to wear 13, and then obviously when last year Anthony had worn 13 and not 4, I was like, oh boy, if I'm on varsity, what are we going to do? But obviously Anthony passed it down to me, so now I carry the Russo 13 role with me for the next couple years.
And also, I know you guys have been competing with each other in practice. I know, Anthony, it's your senior season. Vincent, you're still a sophomore. But what is it like kind of like be able to teach your brother in practice? Like, do you feel like you're grooming him to kind of be the next Middletown quarterback in a way? Like,
oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that's a huge part of what this year is about for me. Ever since we heard that he was going to be on varsity, I took it upon myself to take him under my wing and keep teaching him how to be the best quarterback on the field and do the best he can. So it's definitely pushed me to be better myself so that I can teach him everything that I know.
And then Vincent, to be able to learn from your brother, what's it like to be able to compete with your brother or just learn from your brother and know that you get to carry on that Russo legacy once he's gone?
It's really cool. And like I said earlier, like that's what we always did. I'm the youngest. I have 4 older brothers and 2 older sisters. So pretty much growing up, I was always learning from them. They were like extra parents for me almost. I'm always getting taught by them. And then to be able to change that aspect from learning the stuff at home from them to being here with Anthony every day and learning how to be a better person, a better quarterback, it's something really special. And I wish more people would be able to have this opportunity like that, to be able to learn from their older brother and compete with him, and watching him play, like growing up, always wanting to be like, wow, that's going to be me someday. And now it is like, now we're actually there now.
And what's your guys' relationship like outside of football? Do you guys compete in everyday aspects of life? What's it like for you guys outside of football?
I would say it's pretty much everything. I mean, I would go as far as to say that Anthony is my best friend. Like, we talk about everything. I tell Anthony everything. Like, we are super close, but at the same time, everything is going to be a competition. Hey, no matter what it is, we compete in everything. We both we work at the same job. We're going to compete in everything there. We're obviously competing at practice. We're like, it doesn't matter what it is. We're brothers. So that's kind of what you got to do. You got to have a competition for no matter what it is.
I'd say the same thing. I mean, he's definitely my best friend. I tell him everything that happens to me. He knows everything about me, and everything is always going to be a competition. Our family is very competitive, and being that we're so close, everything is always going to be a competition.
That's great to hear. And for Middletown this year, I know Coach Strenfield has talked highly about this team, but for you guys being brothers, especially in your last year, like, what are your expectations for this season?
I think we're going to be really good. I think our team this year, even though we lost a lot of guys, and that was like a big story, we have the people that we need to be good this year, and we're going to use whoever we have, and we're going to make it work. And I think this year is going to be the year we get everything going, and we're going to keep putting Middletown on the map and be good from here on out.
And that's all the questions
you got.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for sitting down with me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Have a good one.
And we welcome you back here at Fowler Field as the Middletown Midi Bears team is about to run onto the field as they wait, running through a sea of cheerleaders to welcome them. But at the midfield, the scoreboard is going through the starters, but we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have a little bit of insight into the youth football programs here at Middletown. Again, you're listening to Middletown Midi Bears football here on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
September is National Recovery Month. ADAC's Family Support Navigation Program is here to help the family and loved ones of those who are experiencing substance use issues. The Family Support Navigator provides one-on-one education and support to family members and facilitates a weekly virtual Circle of Hope support group. To reach a Family Support Navigator, please call our Hope line at 1-844-984-HOPE. All services are free and confidential.
Be part of the moment. Wall Radio brings you Middletown High School football.
Great staff,
every drive,
great reputation.
every highlight.
That's Steve Dodd.
Sponsored today. Email us at hello@wallradio.com. Wall Radio, home to the Midi Bears. Middletown High School varsity football.
Listen anywhere on your smartphone or tablet. Download the Wall Radio app for free. The world famous Wall Radio.
And we welcome you back to Fowler Fields here as we're just 6 minutes away from the opening kickoff, and the Middletown Midi Bears are running out onto the field right now. And Warwick's huddled up across the field at the 50-yard line awaiting the coin toss. But Middletown Midi Bears has programs at all levels, not just at the middle school and varsity levels, but even kids playing at the elementary school level. The Mighty Mite team lost by 1 touchdown in a barn burner against Pine Bush. Caden Lewis was the MVP of the game with multiple tackles and a touchdown. The Division I team won against Pine Bush at the Mighty Mite level, and the Division II team at the Mighty Mite level took a big loss to Pine Bush. All 3 divisions are looking forward to their home game tomorrow against Highland Division II, who will have a night game under the lights at their home field. But now we welcome you back into the booth. Norris, Gipson, as teams get ready for the coin toss. But Norris, what are your keys to the game today?
I think the keys of the game today are definitely going to be how well Middletown's going to adjust defensively. You know, last week we saw them kind of have just a couple mishaps here and there where it was blown coverages. They did get pretty good penetration into the secondary and backfield, but I just think that Middletown just has to do a better job this year, having a really good attitude of gap integrity, making sure that they are doing what they need to, covering the necessary corners and receivers on offense. I haven't seen much of Warwick this season, so I will be able to kind of make my adjustments as the game progresses of how well that they're able to cover and defend. But I'm definitely looking forward to Middletown doing a better job defensively this game.
And I think we're going to take a quick pause here as we go down to midfield as the JROTC drill team presents the colors for the national anthem. They're paying tribute because they're paying tribute because as you mentioned to me earlier today, they're inducting new members of the Athletic Hall of Fame here in Middletown. There was a brunch earlier today at 10 a.m. More on that at halftime. But one thing I would like to stress that you said is talking about the gap integrity, because the defensive line, I feel like, is going to be crucial in this game against Warwick, because they really got no pressure against Rye, and they're also dealing with another dual threat quarterback in Lupkovic, who can throw and run. Had only 29 rush yards on 5 carries, but threw for 189 yards in the air on 4 touchdown passes. So it's going to be crucial that they get pressure on this Warwick team and actually get a pushback here. Pushback here on that O-line. But we're going through the coin toss right now here at midfield, and again, you're listening to Middletown Midi Bears football here on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County. But my keys to the game, again, yes, would be the defense. Can the defense get stops? Because that was the one thing they struggled doing so much, is Rye just had a field day with them. That defense could not get off the field. And then on the offense, for me, it's got to be a bounce-back game for Aiden Barbosa. Hopefully by the end of this game, we're calling it bounce-back Barbosa, because he got locked up. Only 3 targets the entire game, 2 of which came on the opening drive, and didn't get his second catch of the game until the 4th quarter, after his first catch in the 1st quarter. So that's going to be a huge key for me, is can the offense get off to a hotter start as well? I agree, and also staying in a rhythm, right? Finding that rhythm and staying in it. There was a couple times deep in the game, about 3rd quarter and on, where they were kind of going to some passes that were a little bit deep, and I didn't feel that they were as necessary. They probably should have stayed a little bit more short game. They had Rye had some really tall corners that were able to sort of kind of linger in the air a little bit longer and cover their wide receivers a little bit better. So I just hope that Middletown definitely has worked a little bit more on their short game, and definitely I would like to see them really get into a really good rhythm early on, so they can have a really good lead going into the second half. Yeah, that'll be a key game. It's not going to be as big of a juggernaut in Rye, but this Warwick team is good. And Middletown deferred, so Warwick will receive the opening kickoff, meaning Middletown will receive the ball at the start of the second half. But now we go down to midfield as Middletown's JROTC drill team presents the colors for the national anthem. And we welcome you back to our booth. And again, that was the national anthem as Middletown's JROTC drill team color team, presented the American flag as they play the national anthem. But this is also not the first time Middletown and Warwick have faced each other. This is a contest that happens regularly, and last year they did play each other, but it was not in the favor of your Middletown Midi Bears. They lost 35-6. Warwick had 482 all-purpose yards versus Middletown's 248. Warwick had 300 passing yards through the air and 128 on the ground. And Middletown, they struggled to move the ball against this Warwick defense last season too. 183 pass yards and 69 rush yards. And Anthony Russo got to play in that game, and he threw 3 interceptions. So that's going to be something to look at future down the line, is how will that secondary fare for Anthony Russo going into this game. But we're all set for the kickoff. Number 34, Miguel Segovia Jr. will kick off for Middletown. And back deep to receive, can't see the number, but we'll have that on the return. And we're going to take a moment to pause here as a Warwick undressed player running from end to end. But the whistle blows and we're all set as Segovia Jr. boots it down the middle of the field, and it's going to be fielded by Giacomo Abate. He fields it across the 30 and gets dropped down there by number 3, Justin Stewart, on the stop, and Warwick will receive it. Start it at the 30-yard line in their own territory. And we go down to the field now as we look at the starting drive here for Warwick, and we already talked about him, but Danny Lupkovic is going to be a threat. 15 of 19 passing in his game against Wagner, 180 yards in the air, 29 on the ground on 5 carries, and that's 309 total yards for Lupkovic in last game, and 4 touchdowns through the air for him as well. And this fourth quarter is brought to you by Stephen Dodd Plumbing, as the first play of the game is a handoff right up the middle. Going to be a good game of about 5. So it's going to be 2nd down and 5 on the second play of the game as they try to go right at that Middletown defensive line. As we mentioned, struggled last game against Rye, but should be a more fair matchup coming into this one.
Great tackle there by number 14, Caleb McZorn for the Middies. Talk about laying the wood there on that very first opening drive.
So the man in motion across, but play's going to die before it even begins. It's probably going to be a false start on that Warwick team.
False start on the offense, number 3. That's a 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's going to be a false start on Sean Perez, the starting wide receiver. He had 5 receptions for 33 yards in that game against Wagner, and a receiving touchdown as well.
A little bit early.
And they send Quentin Lasaiga in motion. Lupkovic drops back to Bass. It's going to be a screen. They get it out to number 3, but it's going to be a loss on the plays. He's brought down in the backfield. That was Sean Perez. And that was great defense by the Middletown Midi Bears, but it's going to be a flag. We're going to go down to the field again for the call.
Illegal block below the waist, number 44 on the offense. That's 10 yards from the previous spot. 2nd down.
And to open up the game, that's good defense there by Middletown. We didn't see a whole lot of negative plays from that defense against Rye, but that's great stout defending, and Warwick shooting themselves in the foot with back-to-back penalties.
Absolutely, sniffing out the screen there, and it was just a swarm of middies to the ball once it was thrown into the air.
And we're going to get another whistle, as the refs are going to come over and talk to Coach Strenfeld on the Middletown sideline. Some confusion, maybe explaining the ruling, but it's going to be a 2nd down and long.
The illegal block below the waist has been declined. It's going to be 3rd down.
Okay, so Coach Strenfeld changed his mind. He no longer wants to accept the penalty. A bit smart. Still going to be 3rd down and long because they got a loss of loss on the play, tackled in the backfield, Sean Perez was. It's going to be 3rd and about 14 for the Warwick Wildcats. Quick screen out to the right. They get it to Lasaiga. He has some room to run out across the 40, and he's going to get the first down on the screen. And Warwick charging down the field. And they convert on the 3rd down and long. And Middletown had good opportunity to get a stop on the opening drive and cause a 3 and out. But again, that defense could not get a stop there.
Yeah, I think Middletown has to just pay attention to the screens this game. I mean, we saw Warwick kind of warming up with them earlier.
And they're going to hand it up the middle to Abate. Full steam ahead, charging across the 50 and out towards the 45. It's another first down, and the hard-charging Abate with a huge gain for the Warwick Wildcats. As Middletown makes some substitutions, number 99 coming in on the field there, Tyrell Glover on the defensive line, and big number 70, Seth Monchery, coming in on the defensive line.
Great stop there by number 20, Andrew Smith.
Warwick's offense moving. They hand it off to Abate again up the middle. Has a huge hole, and he's charging again, and it's a gain of about 6 or 7. And again, the Middletown defensive line still proving to be a little bit of a liability on this opening drive. They still have time to turn it around. But that one big play from Lasaiga on that 3rd and long proving to be the Achilles heel of that Middletown defense on that drive.
Certainly. I mean, this is just two plays back-to-back, running it right up the middle. Middletown's got to do a better job seeing that, recognizing what's going on in their coverage.
2nd down and 4 from the 34-yard line. They're in Middletown territory. Lupkovic looks to the sideline to get the signal. Abate in the backfield. They hand it up the middle to Abate, and he's stopped in the backfield by that Middletown defensive line. So they got to push in the backfield. It's not going to be a loss as Abate fought to get back to the line of scrimmage, but finally they get another 3rd down opportunity, and Middletown has a chance to get a stop, but it's still 3rd and about 4. And they're going to have to be wary of that screen. They went to Lasaiga. It's going to be shadowed by the safety. Nobody directly on the line. They're going to go a quick screen to Lasaiga, but sniffing it out in the backfield is Arnstein. He misses the tackle, and now Lasaiga loses the ball. Recovered by Middletown, maybe. No, I think Warwick hopped on it, but it's going to be a loss of... It's going to be 4th down and long. Good defense there by the Midi Bears, as number 7, Andy Arnstein, sniffed that screen out in the backfield and was right on the back of Quentin Lasaiga.
And that was a great save there by number 44, Giacomo Abate for the Wildcats. Whenever the ball gets poked out like that, it's good to have your teammate around to jump right on that.
And it looked like Middletown just almost had that. They had like 5 players around that football. I thought they had it, but Giacomo came out of nowhere. And now the refs are going to take a personal timeout here. As they're trying to figure it out. And it was 3rd down on that last play, but they didn't change the marker. So I think the refs are trying to figure out whether it's 3rd down or 4th, which is huge because it's going to probably change the game plan of the Warwick Wildcats down on the field and what they want to do. Because with that huge loss on the fumble, they're well out of field goal range. They're pushed back to the 44-yard line in Middletown territory, but I don't know. But based off the warm-ups, they do not have a field goal kicker like Rye, who's going to attempt 50-yard field goals in this game.
I agree. I mean, if I'm Warwick right now, I'm just maybe looking to just take it to the air to see if I can get maybe 7, depending on the down. Is it 3rd? We're getting an update on that right now.
It looks like they finally figured it out. Looks like it's going to be 3rd down as the offense stays out there for the Warwick Wildcats. But as you look at the lineup there, it looks like they may go back to the air, like you said, as they have 3 receivers lined out to the right. Abate is in the backfield, line up just to the right of Lupkovic, though. He gets the snap, rolling out to his right. looking downfield. Going to be a flag in the backfield. Luke Kokish finally takes off, gets a good gain of about 5, but not nearly enough to pick up the first down. But again, there was a flag in the backfield. Might be another penalty, possibly holding on Warwick, but it's a good stop by this Middletown defense. We're going to go down to the field to get the call, and it will be holding on Warwick. 3 penalties on this opening drive for the Wildcats.
Holding on the offense, number 56. That penalty's declined. Turnover on downs, Middletown ball.
That's Dean DiMattina on the hold there, but it's not going to matter. Oh, that was a 4th down play. It was a turnover on downs. Warwick opted to go for it, so Middletown will get a huge stop on the opening drive, and now their offense will come out to the field, led by number 4, Anthony Russo. And last time out, didn't have a great game, but I feel like the stats didn't reflect how well he played. They had a couple of crucial drops in that game against Rye. Send a man in motion. They're going to do a trick play. Hand off to Ehrenstein, trying to get to the outside. Now cuts it back up. A play of about 5. A good first play as they hand it off to number 7, Andy Ehrenstein, who had 7 carries and 78 yards in the game against Rye.
Excellent blocking there up front from the guys. You know, it was a kind of a misdirection play there, so the guys are blocking left, which kind of frees up Ehrenstein to do what he needs to do.
They send Ehrenstein in motion, but it's going to be a quarterback draw up the middle for Russo, and a nice little play there. It's going to be a gain of 5 and a first down. They move the chains on their second play of the game. Back-to-back games of about 5 yards, and that's what Coach... And I asked Coach Strenfeld about that, if we're going to see Russo get the ball more, and he said, yeah, it's going to be something you see a lot more, is Anthony Russo get a lot of more design plays, because he opened up the game a little bit more in that second half. Again, he had 5 carries for 49 yards in that game against Rye. He's saying Tinsley in motion. It's going to be a shovel pass to Tinsley. He cuts it upfield. Tinsley with explosive speed, but a huge gang tackle by the Wildcats out towards the Warwick sideline. A gain of 3, but I feel like this is a good thing to see from this Middletown defense, as 3 plays in, each play has been for a positive game so far.
That's right, plus 5, and then now with the additional 3, these past 3 plays.
You did not get a whole lot of that against Rye. It was tough. Again, they were going up against the powerhouse. Isaiah Sepulveda, the running back in the backfield. Russo drops back to pass, looking towards Barbosa. Fakes it now, steps up in the pocket, gets hit as he throws, and it falls incomplete at the feet of Ehrenstein. It's going to be 3rd down and 7 or 6. Yeah, 3rd down at about 7. For the Midi Bears coming up. Again, Russo was looking right side to Barbosa, but there was a lot of congestion in the middle of the field, so he couldn't get a pass up. But he had a lot of time to throw and good protection.
Really impressed with this offensive line. They're doing a really great job today.
And oh no, a penalty is going to ensue as a little bit of confusion on the cadence there, as Isaiah Sepulveda and Andy Ehrenstein both go in motion, so that's going to back them up 5 on 3rd down.
Ball start on the offense, number 60. That's a 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And there's 5 minutes, 54 seconds left to go in the first quarter. And again, this first quarter is brought to you by Steve and Dodd Plumbing and Heating. Middletown started this drive off a bit hot, stalled, and it's going to be 3rd and 13 after that penalty. 5-yard penalty backs them up. So what started off what seemed to be a promising drive is now 3rd and forever. Raheem Tinsley goes in motion, and again, it's going to be a penalty as a mix-up between Russo and
Timeout,
Tinsley.
Middletown, first of the half.
But luckily, Coach Strenfeld calls a timeout. And again, Middletown is running in a completely new offense this season, drawn up by Coach Strenfeld and his coaching staff, and they're showing that this is a new offense right now with back-to-back plays where there was confusion on the motion.
Yeah, I think this is doing the opposite a little bit of what Coach Strenfeld was intended to do. I think he was trying to simplify his offense a bit. But unfortunately, he just wasn't able to. It's just still the beginning stages. So I think they're going to work out the kinks as the season plays out. You'll get better with repetitions in practice. But I just think that, like you just said, it is showing that it is a newer offense, and the players are just showing a little bit of adjustments that they need to make.
Yeah, and I think this offense is very delicate. They use a lot of motion, send a lot of their running backs and receivers, put them in motion a lot to try to confuse the defense, try to create mismatches, and try to see what the defense is lining up in. But again, as a new system, that can be confusing for the players, because when you do a lot of motion, a lot of the time, players are going to get confused. But they line back up, 3rd and long. Russo gets the signal, claps his hand, and he gets the snap. He drops back to pass, looking right over the middle to Raheem Tinsley, overthrown in the middle of the field. That would have been a tight pass, trying to fit it in a tight window. It's going to be 4th down and long, and they're going to punt. But it was a good play call there from Coach Strenfeld. It's just Russo could not fit it into that tight window. But Tinsley was open in the seam there. Now punting onto punt for Middletown, number 9, Graziano DiGiorgio. And back to receive is Abate. The punt goes down and refielded and immediately hit and dropped at the 15-yard line was Abate.
Great tackle there by number 20, Andrew Smith, for the Middies. Met him right there as soon as the ball hit his hands.
Yeah, Andrew Smith was right there. I thought Abate was just going to let it roll to avoid getting hit, but he picked it up, and Andrew Smith says hello and how do you do? Meets him with full force on the hit, and Warwick now backed up to their own 15-yard line. And this Middletown Midi Bears defense comes out to work again. Lupkovic in shotgun. Brings a man in motion. Should be a penalty as 2 men were in motion. Rest didn't catch it. Lupkovic rolling out to his right. Throws it away and almost into the arms of a Middletown defender.
Yeah, already Warwick sort of showing that they're not sort of playing in the cohesion as well a little bit. Some tough penalties than the previous drive for them. But if it's anything like if this drive is anything like the previous drive, Middletown would have some great field position to hopefully get a turnover on downs and set them up for a quick early touchdown.
And that was Caleb McZorn, number 14, on the pass deflection there for Middletown. Lupkovic gets the snap, hands it up the middle to Abate. Abate with a big hole, charging forward, turning those legs, cannot be stopped, and he picks up a 1st down. Giacomo Abate showing full power on that run. He had a cascade of blockers up there to bring him to that 1st down. It's going to be 1st down and 10 from the 26. 4 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the 1st quarter. 3 receivers lining out, 2 on the right. 1 lined up against Andy Aristine on the left. They bring 1 in motion. It's going to be a jet sweep. Cuts it back up to the line. Nowhere to go. Now cuts it back to the right side in a stiff arm, and he breaks free. Runs out of bounds. And he turns a broken play into a 5-yard carry.
Absolutely. Incredible way to make something out of nothing.
Looked like number 1, Eric Milasakis on the carry on the jet sweep. Middletown's defensive line pushed in full-fledged force the Warwick offensive line back, but he cuts it to the other way and gets a gain of 5. In this play, they hand it up the middle to Abate, and Abate pushes ahead for a short gain of 3, and it's going to be 3rd down and short for this Warwick Wildcats team.
Player on the field.
And it looks like Warwick has a player down on the field. We're going to take a quick break, though, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Middletown Midi Bears football on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
Great service, great staff, great reputation. That's Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating, working hard to maintain the reputation they've built over more than 25 years in business. The Steve Dodd team is your go-to for exceptional service, maintenance, and new installations of heating systems, water heaters, and water pumps. Their experienced, licensed, and insured professionals are here for you. From simple repairs to full renovation. Call 845-386-2217 and have your heating system checked for the season. Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating. Call today. Mid-City Transit is a proud supporter of the Middletown High School football team, and right now they're looking for drivers to join their team. To apply today, visit midcitytransit.com. Since 1935, Mid-City Transit has been transporting the students of Middletown School District, always committed to providing those students with a safe, reliable bus service. Mid-City Transit is also available for charters, wedding shuttles, family reunions, and trips. Everyone at Mid-City Transit wishes the Middletown High School football team good luck this season. Go Middies!
WDH HD2, HD4, Poughkeepsie. Orange County's and the Hudson Valley's hometown station. WALL, Middletown, the world-famous Wall Radio.
And we welcome you back to Fowler Field here as Warwick just picked up a first down. He missed the previous play while we were in break. They picked up a gain of 2 to get the first down, and that was Tommy Ronan, the down player for Warwick, but he walked off the field, so it looks like he should be back in the game. Lukovic in the shotgun, drops back to pass, looking left. Now he lost one down the right side, going deep, and it's broken up, but a flag is thrown on the coverage. That was number 15, Owen Brinson, on the coverage there, but it looks like they're going to go pass interference on him.
Wow. I thought that was pretty well defended there. He was able to get a hand and just tip the ball to get it out of the intended receiver's hands.
Pass interference on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
That was a tough call. And it looks like Brinson is talking to the ref to try to see what he did wrong. But to your point, it looked like it was good coverage. But the only thing I can say probably why they threw the flag, it looked like he had his hand on that shoulder pad and tugged the jersey. And I think the intended target there was Sean Perez down the right side. So now Warwick's at the 50. They hand it up the middle to Abate. Bounces it, tries to bounce it outside, but he's met at the line of scrimmage and dropped in the backfield by a sea of Midi Bears. And that defensive line showing to improve from last week as they've gotten a couple of good stops there, and that was another one. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 coming up.
And like you said earlier, Mike, this game appears to be a little bit of a better matchup. Still the score is still 0-0. We're getting ready to close out 2 minutes and 45 seconds in the first quarter. Much better matchup than compared to last week.
They bring a man in motion. That's number 6, Aaronstein. Lukovic dropped the back. He's met with a lot of pressure. It's going to be a screen, though. A lot of room to run. Out across the 40. Now running, still on his feet, out across the 30 and brought down. Warwick with a huge play into plus territory. That's Sean Perez on the reception. I thought Lukovic was surely going to get tackled in the backfield there as Middletown had 2 defenders right in his face, but it was a set-up screen to Sean Perez, and he scampers for a huge gain, now down at the 29-yard line of Middletown.
And that screen appears to be Warwick's favorite go-to plays. They tried earlier. They had a few attempts in the previous drive. Then this drive, now that they're actually going to, this is a gain of 26 for them. So I think this is definitely something that's going to be a little bit of a bread and butter play for the Wildcats.
And they're going to get a flag. False start, looks like, on Warwick. So we go down on the field with the call. There's 1:46 left to go in the first quarter. Still 0-0.
There's no foul on the play for a legal substitution.
So Warwick doesn't get the playoff, but no penalty. They're going to pick the flag up. And again, 1:46 left to go. 0-0. A ball on the 29-yard line for Warwick in plus territory. Lupovic just a snap, hands it up the middle to Abate. Huge hole, but brought down from behind. Looks like number 99, Terrell Glover with the stop from behind. Because Abate had a lot of room to run, but instead it's only going to be a pickup of 3. 2nd and 7 from the 27.
Abate with a +4 yardage there on that last play. He seems to be their go-to running star there for all of their big-time runs.
He had 17 carries for 77 yards last week against Wagner, still looking for his first touchdown run on the season. But he's a running back you do not want to get in front of, as it's going to be a fake handoff, a read option. Lupovic will keep it, but he's met by a sea of Middletown defenders and taken down 1 yard behind the backfield, and it's going to be 3rd and about 9 now from the 28-yard line for for Warwick. And that's one thing that this Middletown team has done well, too. It's not just the defensive line, but coming up with good plays when they need it. It's the second time Warwick has charged down the field past the 50-yard line, but second time their drives have kind of stalled out a little bit. Now the drive's not over. They still have a chance to get that 3rd down, and this is where Middletown has struggled on these 3rd and longs getting off the field. We'll see if Warwick goes to one of those screens as they send Lasaiga in motion. It's going to be a jet sweep. Has a lot of room to run on the right side. Cuts it outside. Jukes back in and now falls forward past the 1st down, and Warwick's going to get a 1st down on another 3rd and long.
Middletown has to do a better job of recognizing and staying on the gas a bit. You know, it's like they kind of get, a little bit ahead of themselves. You know, they do really great for the first 3 or 4 plays, and then they sort of slow down a little bit, and then Warwick seems to how to gain an extra 10 or 15 to get the 1st down. So they have to do a little bit of job of staying composed all throughout the completeness of the drive.
And after that play, it'll bring us to the end of the 1st quarter. The teams will flip sides. Still 0-0 here between Middletown and Warwick, but Warwick is driving now as they're going to have the ball on the 18 of Middletown. But I think to your point, and again, like most of this team, the defense is completely new, just like this offense. They're running with 11 new players, only 1 returning starter in Aiden Barbosa on that Middletown defense. But I think to your point, they need to do a better job, I think, of recognizing plays and a little bit of coverages as well, because it seems like those plays that are designed to get huge chunks from Warwick, they've been hitting almost every time.
Absolutely.
But we're going to throw it to a break here, and when we return, we'll have the start of the 2nd quarter. You're listening to Middletown Midi Bears High School Football, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County here on Wall Radio.
September is National Recovery Month. ADAC's Justice Involved Peer provides support to individuals experiencing negative legal consequences due to their substance use. The Justice Involved Peer will help navigate the justice system and support recovery at the same time. They help with establishing recovery support in the community, job readiness skills, and healthy coping skills. The Justice Involved Peer works with individuals one-on-one and in weekly support groups. For more information, visit adacinfo.com.
Great service, great staff, great reputation. That's Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating, working hard to maintain the reputation they've built over more than 25 years in business. The Steve Dodd team is your go-to for exceptional service, maintenance, and new installations of heating systems, water heaters, and water pumps. Their experienced, licensed, and insured professionals are here for you. From simple repairs to full renovation, call 845-386-2217 and have your heating system checked for the season. Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating. Call today.
Be part of the moment. Wall Radio brings you Middletown High School football. Every drive, every highlight. Sponsored today. Email us at hello@wallradio.com. Wall Radio, home to the Midi Bears, Middletown High School varsity football.
And welcome back. Abate gets the handoff right there on the left side, and it's back-to-back negative plays while we were in break. Warwick tried to get a screen to their leading receiver, Quentin Lisiaga, but Liam Tinsley made a stop in the backfield, and right there they get the ball to Giacomo Abate, try to bounce it out to the outside on the far side of the field, but stopped in the backfield again. So it's 3rd down and 11 at the 18-yard line for Warwick. Two receivers lined up to the right, Abate in the backfield. They hand it up the middle to Abate, but he swarmed in the backfield. But we're going to get a flag as this first half has been filled with a bunch of penalties.
Big first down for the Middies
Personal
right now.
foul, face mask on the defense, number 11. That's half the distance to the goal.
And that's a huge penalty for Middletown right there. I think they said number 7, so that's Andy Arstein in the corner on the face mask there. But that's just a huge blow to that Middletown defense. They finally got a stop. It was going to be 4th down and 10.
Replay 3rd down.
But it's going to be half the distance to the goal. They're going to replay 3rd down. So at least on that, it's not an automatic first down, so it's going to be 3rd and about 5. But now that moves the ball up to the 13, and if they get into a manageable position, you have to believe Warwick's going to go for it on the play after. But this is just a huge blow to that Middletown defense. And Kovic gets the snap, hands it up the middle, and they brought down, going to be short of the first down marker, about 3 yards shy, but Warwick's most likely going to keep the offense out on the field. And on the carry there was number 5, Aaron Callender. He had 3 carries of 2 yards last week against Wagner. But they substitute Abate back in. And now this is a scary situation because either they're going to hand it to Abate, but they could also do a little trickery and go play action to try to get a receiver loose. So let's see what they do. Hand it right up the middle to Abate. Abate has a hole on the left side. He's going to get the first down and more as he waltzes into the end zone for the first score of the game and his first touchdown carry of the season. Warwick goes up 6-0 with 9 minutes, 41 seconds left in the second quarter.
Wow, incredible play there by Abate. Saw the hole, hit it hard, and just kept on running, even with defenders trying to bring him down in the end zone. Really key play for the Wildcats.
And on to kick for Warwick is William Roon. And this extra point try is going to be brought to you by Mid-City Transit. But yeah, that was tough because Middletown most likely would have gotten off the field, but that face mask penalty was so detrimental to that drive and led to that score as that extra point is up and good. But we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, the kickoff. You're listening to Middletown High School Football on Wall Radio. Warwick leads 7-0 as this game is presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
Fall in love with your home again and let the folks at RHP bring those autumn vibes to life. With Benjamin Moore Premium Paints and Stain, expert advice, personal service, and quality. RHP, where the colors of fall meet the heart of your home. RHP, 416 East Main Street, Middletown, in the Jervik Plaza. They're big enough to service any size job, but still small enough to care.
Listen anywhere on your smartphone or tablet. Download the Wall Radio app for free. The world-famous Wall Radio.
And we'll welcome you back. Kickoff here as it bounces down to the 25. Fielded by Joseph Royal, number 89, and he's brought down, wrapped up around the legs. Close near to the 30, brought down by number 24, Jackson Misselli. But on that last drive, Warwick scored at 7-0 with 9:36 left to go until halftime. And with your drive summary, we bring on Norris Gipson.
14 plays there by the Wildcats on that previous drive. A little bit of a back and forth there. They drove down, they got a gain of 13, then a gain of 7, then a gain of 4. Then there was a flag that brought them back a little bit. Then they had a screen for another 26 yards. And then the quarter ended, they switched sides. The quarterback keep 2 runs, and then to close it off by another 6-yard touchdown run by Abate.
And let's see if the Middletown offense can respond. Screen out to Arnstein, one-handed grab, in space, spin move, brought down, And a good gain, a nice gain of 5. Anthony Russo overthrew Ernestine a little bit, but he goes up with his left hand, brings it down for that 5-yard gain. Great job by Ernestine to salvage that play. So 2nd and 5, and I feel like the name of the game so far, too, for Middletown has been penalties. Last week against Rye, there seemed to be no penalties in this game, but now a lot of penalties have kind of stalled their offensive drives, and on that last scoring drive for Warwick, that defensive drive, as we hit the 9-minute mark left to go in the second quarter, as now Middletown has trips left for Russo, but that's something they're going to have to work on is the penalties. 2nd and 5. Russo drops back to pass, looks left, dumps off to Arnstein, and it falls to the turf incomplete, goes through his arm, so it's going to be 3rd down and 5. And Middletown's going to need a crucial pickup here with 8 minutes, 42 seconds left to go until halftime, as that offense continuing to struggle to find momentum here. And that was another thing they struggled with yesterday, was catching the ball. A lot of crucial drops in that game against Rye.
Yeah, if I'm Middletown right now, I'm going to keep it on the ground, develop a really good ground game, and then try to mix it up and throw in a pass play or a screen. But stick to what works. Toss play's been really effective.
Screen out to Ernestine again. He brings it in, cuts up the middle. He's got the first down and brought down around the 45-yard line. So it's a first down pickup on 3rd down for Middletown. As they go to Andy Arnstein 3 times in this drive, 3 straight plays to number 7. And that's also another thing they did not do a lot last week against Rye, was a lot of screens. So it's good to see them kind of mix that in and mix that into the offense as they substitute Raheem Tinsley out as number 6. Isaiah Sepulveda comes in the backfield as the running back. Trips left again for Middletown. Russo gets the snap. Quarterback draw up the right side. He's going to be met in the backfield by big number 63 on the defensive line there for Warwick.
Warwick defense sniffed that right out. They recognized that they were going to be trying to do something fishy, so they kind of stacked that box there. Linebackers were in the box. Defensive line were pretty much all gaps are covered, and they were just able to stand their ground and get in the backfield. And
they go back to the run game, to your point, but one name we haven't called out a lot is Raheem Tinsley. He was the big X factor in that game against Rye. 2 touchdown carries, over 100 yards rushing in that game. They motion Sepulveda out to the right. Russo back to drop, looking left, fires over the middle. It's going to be picked off. Warwick brings it out across the 50. Now tackled. Number 33, Nicholas Vicchiardo with the interception. And that was another thing that we had to watch out, was this Warwick secondary. Last year, Anthony Russo threw 3 interceptions against this team. And Warwick also forced 3 turnovers against Wagner in their matchup last week. 1 forced fumbles and 2 interceptions. So that's scary right there from Anthony Russo. And coming up in 7 minutes will be the Rockland Harbor and Plaint halftime show. But Warwick now with an opportunity to extend their lead with 7 minutes until halftime. They get the ball in plus territory at the 46.
Yeah, it's a really tough go there.
Abate gets the handoff again, cuts it up the middle, and has a lot of space to run, stumbling out across the 39-yard line for a pickup of about 7. It's going to be 2nd and 3 to go. 6 minutes, 45 seconds and counting. Warwick leads 7-0 in charging on this drive.
And just to point out, too, the Middletown defense has been on the field for a while this game. Last drive and the previous drive before the interception, they were on there for about 16 plays. So a long time to be on defense.
Lukovic just a snap, hands it off to Abate up the middle. See if defenders swarm him, but he runs through those arm tackles easily. Stop just short of the first down, so it's going to be 3rd and 1 coming up. Middletown has struggled on 3rd down thus far, and the plays that they have stopped on 3rd down have usually resulted in a penalty or some way for Warwick to extend their drive. Now we go to the 6-minute mark as the ball is placed on the 37-yard line of Middletown. And we want to remind you to start your morning on Wall Radio with the Crate Brennan Show. She starts her morning off right as it's 3rd and 1 at the 37. But that play is going to end before it begins. A flag.
Delay a game on the offense, number 14. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
And so that's going to back it up just 5 yards. So that 3rd and short is now going to turn into a 3rd and 5. And Middletown just got handed a gift, as now it's a little bit more manageable for this defense, but they have to come up with a stop here. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left to go until halftime. And at halftime, don't go anywhere, because the Rockland Hardware and Paint halftime show will be presented by yours truly, Michael Palumbo and Norris Gipson, up here in the booth. And we're going to get a timeout.
Warwick.
With 5 minutes, 7 left to go, we're going to send it to a break, a 30-second timeout. But you're listening to Middletown Mini Bear High School Football here on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
Mid-City Transit is a proud supporter of the Middletown High School football team, and right now they're looking for drivers to join their team. To apply today, visit midcitytransit.com. Since 1935, Mid-City Transit has been transporting the students of Middletown School District, always committed to providing those students with a safe, reliable bus service. Mid-City Transit is also available for charters, wedding shuttles, family reunions, and trips. Everyone at Mid-City Transit wishes the Middletown High School football team good luck this season. Go Middies!
Listen anywhere on your smartphone or tablet. Download the Wall Radio app for free. The world-famous Wall Radio.
And we welcome you back here at Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School on a beautiful day here. Sunny, blue, clear skies. Not a cloud in sight, but ball spotted at the 42 of Middletown. 3rd and 5 coming up for Warwick. Middletown brings pressure. Lukovic looking deep downfield and has a man wide open. And it's caught. And he strikes into the end zone, and it's going to be a touchdown for the Wildcats, as they're going to extend their lead to 13 here with 4 minutes, 58 seconds left until the half.
And that was a 40-yard touchdown pass there. Wow, but he's got a blown coverage a little bit there. There was no one around him on that last play. Just got to recognize and make some adjustments.
Wide open. I couldn't see who made the catch there on the far side. But yeah, huge defensive secondary coverage lapse there by Middletown, as the Mid-City Transit extra point is going to be bobbled in the backfield. And Middletown is going to escape that extra point opportunity, as it's only going to be 13-0 with just under 5 minutes left to go until half. 4 minutes, 58 seconds left to go. We're going to keep it right here, though, as that was a huge play by Warwick. 3rd and 5. Lukovic lofted it up on the left side. No one within a 5-yard radius of the receiver on the left side.
If I'm Middletown this next drive, I'm looking to sort of keep it on the ground, try to see if we can score something with Raheem Tinsley, number 10. He was really electric for them last game. I'm not sure why they haven't been going and targeting him as much. Just kind of get him open with a toss play or a run option or something.
And here's the boot to go. Raheem Tinsley bobbles it, but picks it right back up. He brings it out across the 20, and he slips down around the 30-yard line. Raheem Tinsley tried to turn it up a notch on a different gear, but he slipped on the turf. Middletown will start it from the 29-yard line with 4 minutes, 51 seconds left to go. And yeah, to your point, Raheem Tinsley has been extremely quiet in the first half so far. I think he's only gotten 1 carry. But the screens have been open for Aristine, and he's been able to do some good things out in space, but The only problem is it's been 50-50 whether or not it's going to be a completion.
Exactly.
So Tinsley is out there along with Aristine, Joseph Royal, and Aiden Barbosa as the receivers. Sepulveda lined up in the backfield, but I think we're going to get a flag. A timeout from Warwick.
Timeout, Warwick. Second of the half.
So that was their second time out of the half. 4 minutes, 51 seconds left to go. We're going to go to a quick break. You're listening to Middletown Midi Bears High School Football on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
From kickoff to the Erie Bell Showdown, Wall Radio is the home of Middletown High School football. Join the tradition and sponsor the broadcast. Partner today. Email us at hello@wallradio.com. Wall Radio, home to Middletown High School varsity football coverage.
Back to the action of Middies football on the world-famous Wall Radio.
And we welcome you back to Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School, where the Middletown Midi Bears gearing up for another offensive drive, but they have to get something going. They've been able to get good positive plays, but they haven't broken off a huge chunk play yet. And we'll see if Raheem Tinsley gets involved or gets a couple of touches in this offensive drive coming up. They put Tinsley in motion. It's a shovel pass to Tinsley on the right side. Burst of speed. Has Sepulveda as a blocker in front of him. Dragged out on the sideline, on his own sideline. He picks up a gain of about 4 yards, but that's a good start there for Middletown. It's going to be second down. Second down and about 6 as the ball is placed on the 33-yard line. And again, Warwick leads 13-0 over the Middletown Midi Bears so far. And we only have 4 minutes and 43 seconds left until the Rockland Hardware and Paint halftime show. As Russo fakes the toss, rolls out right, dump it down to Sepulveda. He has it in space, has a good chunk play and picks up a first down as he charges ahead and runs out of bounds on the Warwick sideline.
Great pass there. That was a gain of 7 yards there by Sepulveda. Middletown doing a good job of kind of being balanced a little bit. They show a run, then they go to pass. They just need to keep up with this rhythm right here and just kind of build on it.
And Sepulveda, one of the senior leaders on this team, coming back from an ACL tear about a season ago. And that leg looks just as good as new as he scampers for a first down. Now 1st and 10 from the 40. 4 minutes, 33 seconds left to go. Tinsley in motion out to the right. They fake the toss. Russo up the middle. He has a lane running right behind his blockers, and he's going to pick up a first down. So Middletown out past the 50-yard line for the first time today as they're on a little bit of a drive and have some offensive momentum. And let's hope they can keep this up.
Great quarterback keep there by Anthony Russo. I wasn't expecting them to go to that. But whatever helps right now to kind of get them past that 50 and into the end zone.
And honestly, that looked like a little bit of a broken play there. He faked the toss. He was blitzed a little bit in the backfield,
Holding
but made
on the
a
offense,
move.
number 50. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's first down.
I feel like every time we say something positive, the refs say something negative right back in our face about this Middletown team. I didn't even see a flag thrown on that play, but oh my goodness, the penalties are coming in numbers today, and it's been the biggest reason why Middletown has not been able to get anything going. And now it's going to be 1st and 15 from their own 35. They hand it to Andy Aristine up the middle. Breaks a tackle. Now a huge hole as he picks up a first down and moves right back across the 50. And they pick up just where they left off from a play before. So that penalty does not come back to haunt Middletown as there's 4 minutes now left until halftime. Warwick still leads 13-0, but Middletown coming back in a huge way on an explosive play from Andy Aristine.
Great execution at all phases there. Great handoff. Great blocking out there by the offensive line. This is the type of football that Middletown has to play. Fluid, altogether cohesive in order to be successful.
And now they finally get the plays and look to the wristband. They have Aristine and Tinsley. They send Tinsley in motion. Russo drops back to pass. Now steps up in the pocket. He looks to run. He dances around. Now finally takes off and gets crushed out around the 40 by number 5, Aaron Callender. Lowers the shoulder and brings the boom against Anthony Russo, but not before he picks up about 5 yards on the play, and the clock has run down to 3 minutes left to go for Middletown in this second half. And if they can still drive at the pace they're going, maybe they can score and run the clock out as well.
That'd be a great scenario right now. Just get a touchdown on the board before the half.
They send Arnstein in motion out to the right. Russo drops back to pass. Quick screen to the left to Barbosa, but the pass was low at his knees and it falls to the turf. Incomplete. Unfortunate there. Now it's going to be 3rd down and about 6 yards to go. But I feel like no matter what happens, well, actually, excuse me, not no matter what happens, but if they can get a positive playoff here, they'll be set up to go for it on a 4th down play if they need to. But again, they need to get a positive play on this 3rd down here.
Yeah, they have to build some type of momentum going. I would like to see Aiden Barbosa kind of get into the play, get him involved a little bit more. I mean, I know he just had the play just a second ago, but I think his hands are a little bit.
They send Arnstein in motion. They hand it to him. Gets met in the backfield. Stiff arm. Shakes off a defender. And again, it gets pushed forward for a positive gain. So I feel like it sets them up to try to go for it here on 4th down. It's going to be 4th and a long 3. But this is one of the first times, this is the first drive where Middletown has really been in plus territory and had an opportunity to kind of take it to Warwick as the clock is running down. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left to go, and after this play ends, it'll be under 2 minutes. But they're going hurry up here as Russo already back to the line. They get Ward to jump on the hard count, but they're not going to get the flag because they didn't encroach the neutral zone. So now the clock runs down past 2 minutes. They're trying to get a playoff, but the play clock is running down to 5 seconds. I think Coach Strenfeld's going to have to get a timeout here. 2 seconds left on the play clock, and Coach Strenfeld will finally call a timeout.
Middletown.
As there was a whole ton of confusion there down on the field. But now with 1 minute 48 seconds left to go, once halftime comes, don't go anywhere because the Rockland Hardware Paint halftime show will be coming up. We have an interview with ADAC about their 5K race, halftime stats, and so much more coming up in the halftime show. Just 45 seconds left in this timeout break, but we're going to keep it right here. But I feel like it was a surprise that we didn't see an offside there. I mean, the hard count got the Warwick defensive line to jump, but no flags.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great strategy there by Coach Strenfeld to try to get them to jump off for the hard count. But when it doesn't work, what is your go-to? If I'm Middletown right now, what works? You know, I'm in my own territory. It's 4th down. I have about 3 yards to go until I can get a 1st down. I still have plenty of time on the clock for me to at least put up two to three more plays. You know, if I'm Middletown right now, you know, I'm looking to kind of give it to my key players, right? People who've been giving it, you know, helping me out all game. You know, number 7, Aiden Arnstein. I'm kind of maybe looking to get the ball in his hands. Maybe even Raheem Tinsley. You know, we'll see what they do here, though.
Yeah, Arnstein, for me, is the man to go to. He's been the one to get his number called the most. He lined up in the halfback position, but now he's going to line up in the slot. And Russo under center. It's going to be a QB sneak. They try to push him forward. I don't know if he got it. Warwick saying he's just short. The play's still going on. A bunch of Warwick defenders toppling Anthony Russo. But we're going to have to go down to the field to see where they spot this ball. I don't know if he got it. And it's going to be a 1st down for Middletown. They're going to move the change on a QB sneak with Anthony Russo up the middle. He lined up in the shotgun, ran under his center, and with the quick count, and they pushed him forward. A minute, 20 seconds left to go before halftime. Arnstein in motion to the right. Russo drops back to pass. All day to throw back there. Now he steps up and he runs, takes off, gains about 5. They had 2 linebackers in the spy, but he still picks up 5 yards there. Good job by Russo, and a great job by that offensive line of giving him plenty of time to digest that defense and decide to do what he wants with the ball. Now it's under a minute. Crunch time here for Middletown. 50 seconds left to go. looking to get their first score of the game and cut the lead in half to 13. Russo is in the shotgun. They'll motion Arnstein out to the right again. Russo looking right. Steps up, now fires, caught by Joseph Royal. He's going to pick up the first down, but they're going to need to hurry it up as the clock stops with 31 seconds here, I think, on the first down. But now that they're set up, the clock will run again. And I want to bring up, too, that if they score here, Middletown will get the ball back at halftime because they defer. Russo looking, end zone. The receiver falls over, but no flag. I think they were looking for Joseph Royal in the right sideline, but the only good news about that play is it stops the clock with 13 seconds left to go. So it's going to be second.
Timeout for an injury, 89 Middletown.
Yes. It's going to be an injury timeout, I think, as Joseph Royal came up limping there. So he hit the turf hard there. I think he might have got the wind knocked out of him there as he's curled over on the sideline. But, again, 13 seconds left to go until halftime. Middletown looking to cut this lead in half. They just threw to the end zone, but it fell incomplete. Now they send Tinsley in motion on the left side. Russo looking end zone, fires across the middle. Caught by Arnstein, and he's going to fall forward into the end zone. It's a Middletown touchdown with 7 seconds left to go. They cut the lead in half. And that connection has been crucial as Russo and Arnstein hooked up in the game against Rye for a touchdown pass, and he finds him over the seam as he stands strong in the middle of the field, falls forward for a touchdown.
Wow, great way to sum up a 12-play drive. That took some time off of the minis there, but great job there, great execution by them to get it into the end zone before the half is over.
And on to kick your Mid-City Transit extra point is Miguel Segovia Jr. That looks like it's right through the middle, and it is. It's up and good, and Middletown successfully cuts the Warwick lead in half, as it's now 13-7 with only 7 seconds left to go until halftime. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Middletown Midi Bears High School Football on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
Great service, great staff, great reputation. That's Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating, working hard to maintain the reputation they've built over more than 25 years in business. The Steve Dodd team is your go-to for exceptional service, maintenance, and new installations of heating systems, water heaters, and water pumps. Their experienced, licensed, and insured professionals are here for you. From simple repairs to full renovation, call 845-386-2217 and have your heating system checked for the season. Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating. Call today.
Back to the action of Middies football on the world-famous Wall Radio.
And we welcome you back as Miguel Segovia Jr. gets ready to send it back to Warwick with 7 seconds left. And I also might add, Miguel Segovia Jr., he's a soccer player, and he's only going to be here for the first half of the game, as at halftime he has to hustle over to his soccer game for Middletown as he boots it deep back to receive Sean Perez. He gets the kick, has a hole, and he's finally brought down around the 35-yard line, but time will expire, and Middletown, on their last drive of the second quarter, scores a huge touchdown as Anthony Russo hooked up with Andy Arnstein for their only score of the first half. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's the Rockland Hardware and Paint halftime show. You're listening to Middletown High School Football, presented by Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol, Drug, and Awareness Council of Orange County.
Ready to transform your home this fall? Come into RHP, your Benjamin Moore dealer, today and let them help you find the colors that will make your home perfect for the season. Expert advice, personal service, quality products. RHP, 416 East Main Street, Middletown in the Jervik Plaza. They're big enough to service any size job, but still small enough to care.
UPDH HD2 HD4 HD. Orange County's and the Hudson Valley's hometown station. WALL Middletown, the world famous Wall Radio. The Hudson Valley's greatest hits and your home for Middies football. The world famous Wall Radio.
And we welcome you back here in the press box at Ballard Field on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, clear skies and sunny. But what a first half that was, Norris says. Warwick scored 2 touchdowns. Middletown's defense still seeming to struggle, but that offense picked it up on that last drive there, cut the lead in half, and Middletown gets the ball to receive when we come back at a halftime.
Yeah, it's very. It started off a bit slow. It seemed pretty even matched, and then after the second quarter, after the first quarter, it just seemed as though haymakers were started to fly. So great response there by Middletown to close out, the first half of the game. Warwick has definitely dominated the time of possession, and I think that's something that Middletown has to do a better job of going into this next half of the game. Coach Strenfeld used to do a really good job of it when he had his players, sort of meet him over to the sidelines. Then he would tell them to play, so he would kind of be the master of it now. But I think that he's going to have to rework and learn how to redo that now with his new offense that he's implemented.
Exactly, with the way this new offense works, they always get the signal from the sideline. They never meet with coach. They never in the huddle. So he's really going to have to teach his quarterback, Anthony Russo, what to do. And he'll definitely learn more as he goes on and as the years progress with this offense. It'll probably be that way. But, again, not only was it the time of possession that I feel like killed Middletown, but we mentioned it in that first half, but it was kind of the penalties. On that first score that Warwick had, they had a huge face mask penalty that extended that drive for Warwick that led to their first scoring opportunity. And then on their drives, they had a couple penalties that kind of resulted in a stall out as well. So that's another thing they're going to have to tighten up in the locker room and really relay that message to the kids. But our very own Kevin Halpenny sat down with the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County to talk about an event they had in the past weeks.
We're joined now by Mary Alice Kovach. She is the Assistant Director of the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County. She's here today to talk to us about the upcoming Race for Recovery, the 5K that ADAC is putting on for the first time in a long time. So let's start there. How long has it been since you guys did this race last? And second part of the question, what brought about its return?
The last time we did this race in person was 2019. In 2020, September of 2020 was Recovery Month. We decided to try to do a virtual event, which many of the 5Ks at that time were going to virtual to keep them going. And we did have a fair amount of participation, but the participation was really low. And then just due to a variety of factors, it went away for quite a few years. And the reason we brought it back is because we want to make sure that recovery gets celebrated all the time, but specifically during Recovery Month. And so our partners in the county and in the area, encouraged us to bring it back, and we're excited that it's coming back after a 5-year hiatus.
Let's talk about some of the details. What's the date, time? How do people get involved?
It is Saturday, September 20th. It is the same day as the Bell game, but I will say the registration opens at 8 a.m. The race itself starts at 9, and the event will probably go until noon or a little bit later. But if you just want to be a participant in the race itself, you should probably be done in plenty of time to get back to the Bell game.
How is this year's race different than the last time you guys did it in person?
So it is at the same venue that it has been at in the past, which is on the grounds of the Richard C. Ward Addiction Treatment Center in Middletown. But what's different this time is that we partnered with a couple of organizations in the county to make it an all abilities race, which means that anyone of any ability can participate, and you can walk, you can run. If you utilize a wheelchair for mobility, you can participate in the race in that way. We worked with Orange County Think Differently Differently and Independent Living to have our race course and our venue evaluated for ADA compliance. Made a few tweaks at their suggestion to make sure that everyone will have the ability to participate in the race, no matter what their mobility style is.
What was that process like to work with those two organizations?
It was actually brought up to us by Orange County Think Differently, and I wish we would have thought of it earlier. Think Differently has done a lot of work in the county in the past several years, so we realized that there are many people who are in recovery or support recovery who have differing mobility issues. So we also, in that process of, partnering with Think Differently to promote the race, we brought back a group called the Port Jervis Council of Community Agencies. And it was when I was there that I was promoting the race that now a friend, Brian, from Independent Living said, hey, would you like us to come and evaluate the course for you? And again, it was something that I hadn't thought of from a substance use background and perspective, but we are so happy that we made that connection, and our race will forever be an all abilities race going forward.
We're talking to Mary Alice Kovac. She is the Assistant Director of the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County, talking about their upcoming Race for Recovery Saturday, September 20th in Middletown. Usually there's a lot going on there besides just the race, and I'm guessing that's going to be the case for your event as well.
Yes, so we have added in a wellness and health fair component. So even if you don't want to participate in the race in any way, you can still join us at Richard C. Ward starting at 9 a.m. in the morning to come and collect information from all of our partner providers in Orange County. There will be everything from prevention, treatment, recovery, other types of wellness and health resources will be there. And it's been a long time, so we're really hopeful that we have a lot of folks come out and support the event, but we're just happy to have it back at this point and to get it back on the map and hope to see it continue to grow going forward.
What would you like people to get out of participating in this kind of event? Obviously, you have people who are going to come who are competitive and they want to have another 5K medal to add to their collection. But as an overall event, what is ADAC's goal to try to have people take away from participating?
A couple of things. August 31st, we had our International Overdose Awareness Day recognition ceremony, which is an annual international event to honor those who have ultimately died from substance use disorder. And then September 1st kicks off Recovery Month. So it's this weird sort of dichotomy of the day before this really positive month. We kind of focus on all of the loss and the hurt, but then we focus on Recovery Month, which is that, recovery is possible for everyone in any path, right? It might be substance use recovery. It might be mental health recovery. And this year, what we're really recognizing is that, overdoses are down for the first time in a long time, nationally and somewhat locally. Alcohol use is down internationally for the first time since the end of Prohibition. So really what we want to celebrate is that we've been doing this work for a really long time, but people are starting to recognize and realize that there are different ways to come to recovery, whatever the pathway to recovery is. We're really reducing the stigma and the shame around substance use disorder. So people are more willing to come out and say, hey, I'm in recovery and, this is what's great about it. And, come along with me. Many people who are in recovery have found a pathway through walking, running, exercise, something like that. So we're just excited that there's a lot more recognition of recovery and what that means and a lot less stigma. We still have a lot of work to do, but it's starting to really work, and that's really great to see.
Got a couple more questions for you. We're talking to Mary Alice Kovac here. She's the Assistant Director of the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County as they get ready for their 5K on Saturday, September 20th. So at the risk of putting you on the spot, is there anybody who's involved in this process that you'd like to give a shout out to?
So I would like to give a shout out to our Recovery Services Director, Krista Warner. She and her team have really done a lot of work to bring this back. And I'll just throw out some names. There's KP, Sal, Victoria, Connie, and Evelyn. That's the team that makes up our Recovery Services Department. They work with individuals individuals in recovery, youth and adults. They work with justice-involved individuals, families who are going through this. And I guess I'll give a very special shout out to our executive director, who will be retiring this year after 35 years as executive director. And the run, originated before my time with Jim and Krista, the recovery services director. And it's something that is near and dear to his heart. So we will also be, recognizing him that day as he, kind of winds down his career. And we want to make sure that we recognize all the amazing work that he's done in the recovery services field, specifically in Orange County. He's been a pioneer.
Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that the event is a huge success.
Thank you, Kevin.
And thank you to Kevin Halpenny, who did that interview for us, and he announces the Port Jervis games over at our sister station WDLC, and we look forward to sharing a booth with him next week as Middletown prepares for the annual Erie Bell game with Port Jervis, who's having an incredible season so far in defending their Class B state championship title. But we're going to head to a quick break, and then when we come back, we break down the first half even more and prepare for the second half of play, as there's just 5 minutes left until the opening kickoff to the third quarter. You're listening to Middletown Midi Bears High School Football on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
Fall in love with your home again and let the folks at RHP bring those autumn vibes to life. With Benjamin Moore Premium Paints and Stain, expert advice, personal service, and quality. RHP, where the colors of fall meet the heart of your home. RHP, 416 East Main Street, Middletown, in the Jervik Plaza. They're big enough to service any size job, but still small enough to care.
The Hudson Valley's greatest hits. Your home for Middies football. The world-famous Wall Radio.
And welcome back to the booth here at Ballard Field on the campus of Middletown High School. Again, I'm Michael Palumbo, and alongside me in the booth today, my broadcast partner, Norris Gipson. And there's been some festivities here at Middletown High School for about 400 students packed into the high school right now, taking their SATs, preparing for college, but also the Hall of Fame inducted their new athletes into Middletown's Hall of Fame today. So Norris, who did get into the Hall of Fame this year?
Absolutely. So the class of 2025 Middletown High School's Wall of Fame is the 2011 4x4 relay team for track and field. Now, their names aren't specified here on the list, but that team is being recognized and inducted into the Wall of Fame. We also have Wayne Beam, class of 1980, for track, cross country, baseball athlete, track, cross country coach from 2007 to 2018. We also have Tom Clark, varsity boys soccer coach from 1965 to 1985. We also have Steve Garland, class of 1995 for the wrestling. Kendrick Ray, class of 2012, basketball athlete. And we also have Sharon Russell Parr, class of 1986 for swimming and diving. And we also have Doug Spellman, class of 1995 for soccer and wrestling. And last but never least, we have Diane Wenser, varsity girls soccer, tennis, basketball, cheerleading coach from 1973 to 2019. Congratulations to the class of 2025 Middletown High School Wall of Fame.
And seems like a well-rounded class for this 2025 Hall of Fame class being abducted. Just under 2.5 minutes left until the kickoff for the third quarter, but we're going to keep it here in the booth with us for the remainder of halftime. But Norris, I mean, you graduated from Middletown. Are we going to see your name in the Hall of Fame anytime soon, do you think?
You never know. I mean, full of surprises here always. We have a lots of cool alumni that have done some pretty tremendous things here for the program. I've also came back and, well, as we read from that list, were coaches and contributed their time and efforts to help see Middletown's continued success here in the athletics department. Just looking at this beautiful field here at Fowler, all of the wonderful programs. I even was a player myself from Mighty Mites to Division I, Division II, and D3, all the way up through Middletown High School. So I was, to see where the program is at, to see how wonderful things have transcended, to hear the wonderful Section 9 titles that have came to the school since we've left. It's just really beautiful to hear all of the great success that's been happening here at Middletown. And really excited to see what the future holds for many of the programs and coaches and players that come through the program after.
Yes, Middletown has a great community, and we'll in part get to see that great community next week when Middletown takes on Port Jervis for the Erie Bell rivalry game, over a 100-year rivalry between the two schools. But let's focus back up on this matchup that we have here. Warwick, like we mentioned in the pregame show, defeated Middletown last year in a 35-6 defeat of the Midi Bears. But if they were to pull off a win today, it would be the first time ever that Warwick has beaten Middletown in back-to-back seasons. And so far, they lead 13-7 over Middletown, but Middletown got some momentum with that offense, and they get the ball back to start this opening half, and it'll be a great testament to Coach Trentville and his team if they can come out and get a score on their opening drive.
I think definitely that's going to be the goal of Middletown, is to come out strong, similar to how they finished the half. Fast, physical, playing their version of football, playing their version in speed. And I'm just really excited to see how they come out. I really want to see them get more involved. Their receiving core, Joseph Royale, Aiden Barbosa. I also want to see them get involved, Raheem Tinsley. And number 7, Andy Arstein, who's been having a tremendous game today. I obviously think that they're going to keep him within the fold. He's kind of really been pretty hot for the Middletown offense today. So I'm just really excited to see how they involve these players. Defensively, they're doing okay. I just think that's really what's kind of been hurting them is penalties. And, not really stopping the momentum of Warwick. Warwick's been able to come out, get very small yardages for about 3 plays or so, and then all of a sudden they just kind of gashed Middletown for a 15 or 26-yard gain like how they did in the first half. So I just think that Middletown has to do a better job of recognizing what they're being given and capitalizing once they've started kind of not in the best field position, but capitalizing off their ability to take over when they have such a slow momentum for Warwick's offense.
And now the teams are lined up on the field getting ready for the third quarter, and that officially ends the Rockland Hardware and Paint halftime show as the boot away as Joseph Royal out to receive the kickoff, hits a stiff arm and dashing down the Warwick sideline. Gets relatively good return field position for Middletown out around the 36-yard line for Middletown. And you talked about Andy Arstein. He had a huge first half, got most of the touches on the offense, had that nice touchdown catch over the middle of the field, like you said. But I think this has to be the half that Raheem Tinsley breaks out, because Andy Arstein has already proven to be a problem. And then once you add Raheem Tinsley into that matchup, it becomes a two-headed monster now that Warwick has to try to stop. And now Russo, another hard count, trying to get that Warwick defensive line to jump off sides, but they stay disciplined and on their side of the ball. Now they motion Arnstein out to the right. It's going to be a shovel pass to Arnstein. He cuts it up, trying to follow his blockers, makes a nice move, and a nice big play to start the third quarter. A gain of 7, so it's going to be 2nd and 3 to go. Ball marked at the 43-yard line. 11:33 left to go in the first quarter. Again, Warwick Wildcats lead the Middletown Mini Bears 13-7. But Middletown starts with a huge positive play on their first drive of the third quarter. And there was some mental errors, too, for that Middletown offense a lot of motion miscues as Sepulveda goes in motion, but it's a quarterback sneak to Anthony Russo up the middle. And now he's finally driven back by 3 defensive linemen up there from Warwick, but Russo charged ahead, and it's going to be a first down 2 for Middletown. He ran right into the nose guard of Warwick. That's big number 55, Aiden Williamson, nephew of our station owner, Bud Williamson, who's sitting here to my right. But Russo, small frame, drove him right back. Now it's 1st and 10 from the 46. Russo drops back, looking right, now left. Now he's going to roll out. He tucks it. There's going to be a penalty. Dumps it to Barbosa on the right side. Barbosa makes a move and makes the corner miss. Dives ahead, but I think this is going to come back as number 4. Excuse me.
Holding on the offense, number 55. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Yeah, that's Isaiah Lawrence, the sophomore, on the holding play as Russo scrambled out to his right. The ref threw the flag in the backfield, and again, that's just been the biggest factor right now that I feel like has kind of held Middletown back, because they haven't gotten a lot of huge plays. They got a lot of big plays from Andy Arnstein on that last drive, but it's been they've been gashing the defense, like 3-yard game, 5-yard game, which isn't a lot, but can wear a defense down. But then when you help out the defense, it's not going to be great for this offense. It's just going to wear yourselves down and your own mentality down as well.
Absolutely.
So now it's 1st and 15 from the 36. Isaiah Sepulveda, the running back in the backfield. They're going to motion Arnstein and Tinsley as H-backs. Now Arnstein gets the handoff up the middle, down, trying to bounce it out to the outside, still on his feet, churning those legs. He won't be taken down. It takes what seems to be the entire Warwick defense to take him down. A good play. Gets a gain of about 4 or 5. Now it's going to be on the 43. So a gain of 7 for Arnstein there. 9 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. Still the opening drive of the third quarter for this Middletown Midi Bears team. Warwick leads 13-7 over your hometown team, the Middletown Midi Bears.
Midi's looking to find a rhythm here.
Warwick looking to bring pressure. Russo. Slant to Barbosa, complete, and he's going to spin out of a tackle and be dragged down past the first down marker. Huge offensive drive so far by Anthony Russo as he looked calm and collective right there as they go to the quick hit slant to Aiden Barbosa. And Russo, the passing game wasn't that effective until that last drive, and Russo already has 1 interception. And they have to be careful of this Warwick defense. Again, they had 2 interceptions in their game against Wagner. 18 total interceptions last season. Quarterback draw up the middle to Russo, up the right side, trying to follow his blockers. And he's going to get a positive game in this Middletown offense, slowly wearing down that defensive line for Warwick, as it's another 4-yard gain into plus territory at the 30, at Warwick's own 38. 8 minutes, 35 seconds left to go.
This is feeling like the drive that Middletown is going to hopefully score on to kind of close down the deficit. Middletown's doing a really good job offensively with their line.
Raheem Tinsley in motion. Shovel pass to Tinsley. Sepulveda, the lead blocker in front. He has a lot of room on that left side. It's going to be a first down and another big game for Middletown, and they found their stride on this opening third quarter drive.
You know, Mike, we've been talking about how, you know, when this quarter first started, how they're doing exactly what we mentioned. Like, they're getting the guys involved that need to be involved, right? Getting Aiden Barbosa involved, getting Raheem Tinsley involved, getting Andy Arnstein involved. These are their playmakers for Middletown, and they're doing a really good job of getting kind of everybody in the mix, keeping Aiden Barbosa on slants. I don't think that deep.
In Middletown taking their sweet time as one of their Warwick's edge rushers lining up offside. But there seems to be so much confusing. 3 seconds left on the play clock. They're probably going to have to call a timeout. They did call a timeout in time.
No delay of game on the play. Timeout, Middletown.
But this is one of the things we've been talking about with this new offense. There's a lot of kinks to be worked out there. And while you were talking, there was a Warwick defender on the near side. Number 61, that's Aiden Galetta. He was lined so far offside, and if they had just snapped the ball, probably would have been a free play. They probably could have done whatever they wanted, run a streak to the end zone. But the confusion held them back, and these are the mental errors we've been talking about.
Yeah, again, just working out, a younger team, working out sort of the kinks a little bit, new offense, new way of how coach is calling the plays. Everything is still kind of fresh, still working it all together. I think as the season plays out, we'll definitely see them get tighter and be a completely different team by the end of the season.
And there's only 8 minutes, 14 seconds left to go in this third quarter. So about 4 minutes, close to 4 minutes, has been run off the clock in this opening drive for the Middletown Midi Bears, but in a game that so far has been kind of a dogfight. I mean, Warwick's offense has seemed to have the edge over the defense, but Middletown's offense has looked to come alive here. But using that timeout early on could prove to be crucial if this game continues to be a close one in the late stages of the fourth quarter. So now the offense trudges back out onto the field. Still 1st and 10. Hard count. And they finally get Warwick to jump off sides, and it's going to be 1st and 5 from the 30.
Encroachment on the defense, number 2. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
It's going to be a 5-yard penalty at the 29, so that's going to bring them down to the 24, into the red zone. Excuse me, not to the red zone just yet. Raheem Tinsley goes in motion out to the left. Russo looking right for Barbosa in the end zone. Intercepted at the goal line. And there's a scrum in the end zone, but it seemed to be picked off there by number 8, Logan
Result of the play is an interception. Touchback. Warwick ball at the 20.
They were going for the big hit play, but Logan Conley was step for step with Barbosa and comes down with the interception, the second one of the game for Warwick, and a huge turnover as that drive goes for nothing. 8 minutes, 5 seconds left now in the third quarter, and Middletown's seem to be putting together a solid drive, but again, that secondary for Warwick proves to be a problem.
Yeah, I just think that they haven't really been proven to be a strong suit there, with just kind of just throwing up a prayer essentially. Every time they're going to these deep goal routes, is they're kind of just chalking it up there and hoping for the best. I think that if you hit in Barbosa on slants, quick plays, you have more success.
And that jet touch patch to Lysaika. He's running backwards, and he's hit in the backfield and dropped by Andy Arnstein. A huge loss of yardage on the first play. Going to be 2nd and 15, a loss of 5 on that. So a huge play on defense. And Andy Lysaika was their go-to man in that opening game against Wagner. He had 7 receptions for 128 yards through the air and 2 touchdown catches. They haven't really been able to get him going in this game so far, as Lysaika goes in motion again, but they get the handoff to Abate up the middle. He loses the ball. The ball's on the turf. Middletown signals they have it. We'll wait for the official signal from the ref, but it would be a huge turnover here if Middletown comes up with it. But it looks to stay in the possession of the Wildcats. Oh, that would have been a huge turnover for Middletown right there.
Very big.
7 minutes left to go in the third. Warwick still leads 13-7. They try to give it to Giacomo Abate up the middle, but as he was running with it, I didn't see a hand get in there. I think he just bobbled it and lost control of the football. So now it's a huge 3rd down and 15 here for Middletown. Lubkovic dropped back to pass. Looking right side, has a man over the outstretched fingertips of Sean Perez. A huge 3rd down stop for Middletown.
He was about 1 yard of a step if it being in the breadbasket there, and that would have been caught him in stride, and he would have possibly taken it to the house.
Yeah, Sean Perez would have been off to the races had he caught that. But luckily for Middletown, Lipkovich just put a little bit too much mustard on that one. And now the punt team comes on for Warwick, as it's William Boone, who's the kicker and punter for this team. And back to receive, Raheem Tinsley and Andy Arnstein for Middletown. And they're only already... And the snap goes over the head of Boone. He's in the end zone, has to run it out. Still on his feet, but he's going to be tackled inside the 5-yard line. And Middletown's going to have the ball at the 4. Huge play for the Middletown Midi Bears, and they're going to have an offensive possession starting at their Warwick's 5-yard line coming up. A huge lapse there for Warwick. They had been pretty much perfect the entire first half, and already the offense seems to crumble. The first play from scrimmage was a 15-yard loss, and now the punt goes over the head of William Boone, and Anthony Russo comes back onto the field and gets to lead this team and try to redeem himself from the interception a drive prior. And Russo will line under center this time. 3 running backs in the backfield. They hand it to Arnstein up the left side and into the end zone. Middletown, 1 play and 1 touchdown as they look to take the lead, their first lead of the season, as they even it at 13 apiece. Andy Arnstein with his 2nd touchdown of the game and his 3rd on the season.
Way to capitalize there by the Middies off of a mistake there, an unfortunate mistake there by the Wildcats. I thought for sure he would have tried to kick it just to try to steal off a couple extra yards, but he tried to take it out on his own, which he did a good job of, but set Middletown up for a great field position and then the touchdown.
And this Mid-City Transit field goal is blocked, so Middletown will have to wait to try to get their first lead of the season, but it's knotted at 13 apiece with 6 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in the 3rd. We'll take a quick break, but you're listening to Middletown Midi Bears High School Football on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
Ready to transform your home this fall? Come into RHP, your Benjamin Moore dealer, today and let them help you find the colors that will make your home perfect for the season. Expert advice, personal service, quality products. RHP, 416 East Main Street, Middletown, in the Jervik Plaza. They're big enough to service any size job, but still small enough to care.
The Hudson Valley's greatest hits. Your home for Middies football. The world famous Wall Radio.
Hey, welcome back as Graciano Di Giorgio sends it down the field as it's fielded by Abate, and he brings it across the 30, has a little bit of a lane, and brought down to the 40-yard line. And Warwick with significantly better field position to start this second drive for them of the 3rd quarter. Last time out, they got field position at the 20 because of the interception that resulted in a touchback, but Abate gets the ball this time, and Lupkovic will get to drive his team out onto the field with 6 minutes, 11 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter, and the score knotted up at 13 apiece. And that first drive did not go Warwick's way. First play from scrimmage was a loss of 5, and then the horrible punt. As they hand it up to Abate, they go back to the bread and butter, and it's a gain of 5 up the middle for Giacomo Abate.
You know, Warwick definitely has been doing a good job of keeping it on the ground and just chiseling off 5, 6, 7 yards at a time, and then they like to open it up for a big gasher with a nice pass there. But it seems as though they're having a good time being able to connect with their quarterbacks to their receivers. I haven't really seen their QB, Danny Lepovich, use his feet. I remember you saying he was a dual threat quarterback, but maybe he might utilize it this quarter.
And a quick screen to Lasega, their leading receiver, trying to make a move, now running backwards, and he's brought down by number 99, Tyrell Glover, as he sumo slams him into the ground. Going to be a pickup of about 2. But it's another crucial 3rd down, as Middletown's defense has not been giving up huge chunk plays. And it'll be a huge stop if they can get a stop here, because then the Middletown offense will get an opportunity to come back down the field and take the lead. 5 minutes left and counting here in the third quarter as the score is knotted at 13 apiece. Lukovic in the shotgun. Abate in the backfield. Has two receivers lined up to his left. Sean Perez one-on-one on his right. Lukovic. RPO up the middle. Lukovic with a hole and a seam down the right sideline into Middletown territory. Brought down around the 35, and Lukovic with a huge gain.
I'm not understanding it. It seems like most of the third down plays, Middletown has a tough time of just making the necessary adjustments to get to the necessary stop. I mean, if we had a stat for it, I'm sure that the percentages would definitely be within the 80s of them being able to, for Warwick to be able to convert.
The third down conversions have not been great. And that's honestly when they've given up most of their big chunk plays is on third down. And if the viewers were here in the pregame, so Coach Schrenfeld said that there was a lot of adjustments they had to make, and that the alignments on this defense, they had to adjust because kids just did not know how to line up. And it's another fake to Abate, but this time Lukovic will go nowhere as he's taken down in the backfield.
Swarm of middies there where it just kind of sniffed that one out. They weren't caught for the fake.
Yeah, they try to run the same play back-to-back, but this time the Middletown Midi Bears defensive line snuffed that one out, and it's a loss of 5, a significant loss. Puts them back out around the 40 at the 38. 3 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. And Aaron D. Arnstein matched up against Quentin Lasaiga here on the left side. They give it to Abate up the middle, but he's dropped in the backfield, and that's again big number 99, Tyrell Glover, and he's been unstoppable on that defensive line for Middletown.
Incredible job there. That's 2 plays back-to-back for him, just kind of getting there and making a stop in the massive clogging up those holes the way he needs to be for this defensive line.
And he's been that Achilles heel for the run game of Warwick, but this sets up another third down and long for Warwick. But Middletown needs to find a way to strengthen up and get off the field. Lukovic back to drop all day in the backfield. Now gets pestled, rolls out to his right, has a lane to run. He's taking off. He's going to get hit out of bounds, well short of the first down. Gets back to what seems to be the original line of scrimmage. Great job on the secondary there by Middletown. But now we'll see what Warwick wants to do if they keep the offense on the field or elect to punt.
I don't know if you're Warwick right now. Are you trying to go for it? You're on your own 33.
Yeah, they're on their 33. 2 minutes 43 seconds left to go. Score tied at 13. But they're going to keep the offense on the field. And again, this is where Middletown's defense has struggled on these big downs. Back to patch. Lukovic looking right. Sideline. Caught by Perez. And a flag, but it's not going to matter. A huge one-handed catch by Sean Perez. Again, guarded by number 15, Owen Brinson. And this is going to be the second.
Pass interference on the defense. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, first down.
And again, those big plays, that Warwick's offense comes up clutch again.
Yeah, I at this point, I really do think some aspect has to be attitude, right? I'm not going to allow these teams to just come in here and do what they want to do. We've done a really great job the first three downs of getting them in a tough situation, but we have to do a better job of sealing it out and getting them off the field.
Timeout, Warwick.
And head coach Gregory Sirico is going to take a timeout, so they burned their first timeout of the second half, so now both teams down to 2 timeouts for the rest of the second half of play. There's 2 minutes, 27 seconds left to go in this third quarter. Again, the score still knotted at 13, but Warwick is driving. Ball spotted at the 10-yard line. They're in the red zone. And again, it was a great play there by Perez on the right side. Brinson was blanketed him. He had to work back to the ball and caught it in his breadbasket with one hand. Not necessarily a one-handed catch, but a one-arm catch. But if you could imagine, had to contort his body back to the ball on that sideline. So it was a tough play. But again, and it's tough because it seems like every time Owen Brinson has been tight had been there on-site coverage. He just gets thrown for a flag, so not really much Owen Brinson could do.
Yeah, I'd like to see Middletown, though, definitely tighten up on these third down plays. It seems like they're playing so well on these first and second downs. Let's complete the drive by getting them off the field on a third down.
And to me, if it was a higher level of play, it just seems like it's tight coverage. If this was like college or the NFL, I feel like that would not be a penalty.
Right.
Lukovic gets the snap, hands it off to Abate, but Abate nowhere to run. Taken down in the backfield. That's taken down in the backfield by one of those D linemen. Idiaga Sar on the stop there, getting the hit in the backfield. Excuse me, Chester Rosario with the hit. But now it's going to be second down in goal from the 7. And he's hit in the back. Bate gets the handoff there, and he's hit in the backfield again. So Middletown dials up the pressure on back-to-back plays, and it's two tackles in the backfield, and they're pushing Warwick back. It's third down and long, spotted at the 16. So as soon as they get back down into the 10-yard line, they're backed up again. Back-to-back negative plays for the Warwick Wildcats.
Another big opportunity for Middletown here to get the stop on third down and get their defense off the field. These guys have been on for a while throughout the entire game.
And they've come up a couple of times, but this is where they really need to buckle down. Lukovic rolls out to his right. Looking, scanning, being tracked down from behind by McZorn. And Lukovic gets a huge hit, and the pass deflected on that one as well. So it's going to be fourth down from the 16 for Warwick. And again, another tough decision because I don't know if their field goal kicker has the leg to make this field goal from the 16. But again, this offense has come up.
Formation on the offense, that penalty's declined. Result of the play is an incomplete pass. Fourth down.
But this offense has come up clutch, and Middletown has rarely been able to come off the field on these big third down and fourth down plays. But it's from the 16, from the 16-yard line. They're backed up for this try. There's no first down marker, so it's touchdown or bust on this play for Warwick because the last time the ball was spotted when they had the first down, it was spotted at the 10. So it's 16 yards to go and a score for the Warwick Wildcats. Middletown lined up in prevention defense on the coverage. McSorn in the backfield. Now he lost one to the end zone. Double coverage and intercepted in the end zone for Middletown. Aiden Barbosa comes up huge. But there's a flag. And I don't know what this is going to be. But this cannot be good. It seems to be down near the line of scrimmage. And I don't see... And Coach Drenfell had his hand on his head, so this might be another Middletown penalty. We'll go down to the field for the call, though.
An eligible man downfield on the offense. We have two plows on the play. We have holding on the defense as well, number 7. Those penalties are going to offset. We're replaying fourth down.
Oh, that is tragic. I mean, it doesn't... It's just tragic for Middletown. I don't know what to say. You thought... The refs gave us hope on the first part of that penalty call when they said there was an eligible receiver downfield, but then it just... A stake to the heart with the offsetting. Lukovic, drop back to pass, has pressure. Now he's rolling out to his right. He's going to throw to the end zone. It's going to fall incomplete and no flag, so Middletown's going to come up clutch here with the fourth down stop and take over on downs at their own 16-yard line with 26 seconds left to go. And again, you're listening to Wall Radio here at Fowler Field, and Wall Radio presents all the greatest hits for Orange County and the Hudson Valley. But again, 26 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. 13-13, and Middletown finally gets a clutch defensive stop. But I feel like if you had a heart monitor on, the heart rate would be up and down just with the way that drive went.
Absolutely. No flatlining here.
No. Middletown sure does like to make it interesting. You had the penalty, the big play, the 2 stops. It was absolute cinema on that last drive. But now Russo gets to lead his team back on the field. They give it to Tinsley, trying to find a hole on the left side, runs into a stout line of Warwick, really nowhere to go, but he picks up 3 on the play. So 10 seconds left and counting. It looks like they're going to try to get another playoff before the end of the quarter. A hard count and a jump off the defensive line for Warwick.
Encroachment on the defense, number 42. That's a 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's Dennis Allen Dover Jr.
This is the end of the third quarter.
And the hard counts have really given Warwick's defensive line a hard time. And again, like the ref said, that'll be the end of the third quarter. And we're going to go to a quick break. But when we come back, it'll be the start of the fourth quarter as both the Middletown Midi Bears and Warwick Wildcats are now at 13. You're listening to Middletown Midi Bears High School Football on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol, Drug, and Awareness Council of Orange County.
September is National Recovery Month, and the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County is hosting their annual 5K Run, Walk, and Roll for Recovery on September 20th from 9 to 1 at Richard C. Ward Addiction Treatment Center in Middletown. Every ability is welcome to join us in celebrating and recognizing that recovery is possible for every person, every family, every community. Recovery and wellness info will also be available during the race. Visit adacinfo.com to register. That's adacinfo.com. See you on September 20th.
WDH HD2, HD4, Poughkeepsie. Orange County's and the Hudson Valley's hometown station. WALL, Middletown, the world-famous Wall Radio. You're listening to Middletown High School Football on the Hudson Valley's Wall Radio.
And welcome back to Fowler Field on the campus of Middletown High School. Middletown has the ball at their own 24-yard line, and when they snap, the fourth quarter will start. But again, score knotted at 13 apiece, and Middletown scored a touchdown at the end of the second quarter, and one on their second drive of the third. Now it's 2nd down and 3, because at the end of the quarter, Middletown was able to draw Warwick off sides. They give it to Raheem Tinsley up the left side. Following his blockers, now cuts it up, and a huge gain and a first down for Middletown. Nice game there by Raheem Tinsley. And correction in halftime, at the end of the third quarter. Head coach's name is Greg Surico, not Greg Surico. So, yeah. So we go back to the field. Ball spotted at the 31, 11 and a half minutes left to play until the end of regulation. Middletown taking their sweet time to get the play in. 10 seconds left on the play clock. They finally get set, but 5 seconds left. Arnstein goes in motion. A little misdirection. They give it to Tinsley, and Tinsley off to the races again, and it's going to be a gain of about 9. But he's going to get a huge pile up in a last-second effort from his offensive line coming in at the end of the play. They're going to push him forward for a first down. Back-to-back carries for Raheem Tinsley. And like you said, Norris, they've gotten him a little bit more involved in this second half. Hasn't had a huge breakthrough, but he's played a huge factor in this game in the second half.
Absolutely, and I think that, getting him more involved is definitely going to be a tribute to the success of the team. I think that also involving, again, they have a really great receiver in Aiden Barbosa, but just get him involved in some slants. Deep throws aren't necessary.
They give the ball to Arnstein, trying to break it to the outside. He gets dragged down from behind, but it's going to be a horse collar. As Aristine was breaking for that outside corner, and the Warwick edge rusher had no choice but to grab onto the back of his jersey, and that's going to be another positive gain
horse
for
collar
Warwick.
On the defense, number 57. That's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the fall. The foul results in a first down.
So that's Nathan Link with the personal foul for Warwick. And that's going to push Middletown past the 50-yard line into Warwick territory. And I feel like in the first half, you could say Middletown was making more mistakes, but it seems like now Warwick is making more mistakes because they figured out that that defensive line is a little bit undisciplined and they can get them on those hard counts. But the penalties have been adding up for both sides now.
Yeah, plus or minus, I think we're probably at nearing 40 yards apiece for each team in total.
Aristine goes in motion. Fake the handoff. Russo drops back to pass. Lofting one for Joseph Royal. He makes the catch. Off to the races down the left sideline and tackled at the 15 inside the Warwick red zone. Huge play by Middletown.
"24-yard gain on that play."
10 minutes, 23 seconds left to go, but finally, Arnstein, they go to the play action with Arnstein in motion, and the misdirection finally working, and they're opening that playbook up a little bit more like Coach Strenfeld said they would do in this game, and it comes up in a huge way as Anthony Russo and Joseph Royal connect for a 24-yard gain. Now, the ball spotted at the 16, 10 minutes left to go in the third. Middletown in the red zone. Fake to Arnstein, a little bit misdirection. They fake it to Tinsley, who's going out wide to his left, and get the handoff up the middle to Arnstein, but snuffed out by the defensive line there by Warwick. Only a gain of 1, so 2nd down and 9 at the 15. We're at the 4th quarter now. Again, 9.5 minutes left to play in the 4th quarter. Still knotted at 13. Another hard count from Middletown. This time, Warwick stays onside. 2nd down and 9. Play clock down to 10. Arnstein in motion. They get the shovel pass to Arnstein. Trying to go full steam ahead behind his blockers, and he rumbles his way. Ball looks like it came out, but rolled out of bounds. Arnstein lost the ball at the end of that play, but he stumbles ahead to the 5-yard line. And now it's 3rd and 1 with under 9 minutes left to go until the end of regulation. But they're spotted at the 7-yard line, and a huge play coming up for Middletown because it's 4-down territory, I feel like, no matter what for this Midi Bears team.
If I'm Middletown right now, I'm gonna try to work in a misdirection. I have enough faith in my offensive line that's actually they're gonna sell going right, and I think that they have enough space and enough field to kind of get their receivers, kind of create some space and try to give it to Tinsley right here.
And it looks like they're gonna go a speed option. Quarterback draw up the middle. He's gonna get the first down easily. And it's going to be 1st and goal inside the 5 for Middletown. It looks like they were going to try to run a speed option up the left side, but Anthony Russo saw a sliver of space up the middle with the big lineman up front, and he gets the first down.
I think if he would hit that with a little bit more speed, I think he would have had the jump on the defenders, and he probably could have been able to slide in for at least a yard or two.
And I thought maybe they'd go under center in a quarterback sneak with Russo, but good play design there by Coach Strenfeld. They go back to the QB sneak. Russo up by the goal line and in. Touchdown Middletown, and they take the lead for the first time ever in this season. And they lead 19 to 13 with 7 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. And again, this game is brought to you by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County. And this extra point is brought to you by the Mid-City Transit. But the offense looks like they're going to stay out on the field. They're going to try to go for 2 and get it back to 21. But coming up at the end of the game, we're going to have the post-game show, so stick around with us when the game concludes. And they have Raheem Tinsley in the backfield lined up at running back. Russo rolls out to looking, back corner of the end zone, caught by Barbosa. Did he get the foot down? Yes, he did. And they convert the 2-point conversion. What a beautiful pitch and catch from Russo to Barbosa. Back corner of the end zone with the toe tapper to keep it in.
And this is beautiful to see. We're seeing Middletown come back to life a little bit more. We're seeing them kind of form into themselves a little bit. They're able to come in and get the 2-point conversion, much needed there to kind of make up for some plays that they had back in the
Middletown leads 21-13 with 7 minutes 50 seconds left in the quarter. We're going to go to a quick break. You're listening to Middletown High School Football on Wall Radio, sponsored by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
September is National Recovery Month, and the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County is hosting their annual 5K Run, Walk, and Roll for Recovery on September 20th from 9 to 1 at Richard C. Ward Addiction Treatment Center in Middletown. Every ability is welcome to join us in celebrating and recognizing that recovery is possible for every person, every family, every community. Recovery and wellness info will also be available during the race. Visit adacinfo.com to register. That's adacinfo.com. See you on September 20th.
And we're back here on the kickoff. Sean Perez with it, has a crease a little bit, had a little bit of space, brings it out past the 40 to what seems to be the 42-yard line is where the refs are going to spot the ball. But one thing, too, I want to mention coming out, I held on to this because I didn't want to jinx it, but you talked about time of possession in the first half and how Warwick controlled it, and Coach Strenfeld in past years was a time of possession kind of guy. But I think in this second half, the rules have been reversed where you've seen Middletown really control the ball and has long, drawn-out drives.
I think he's also coming into that and understanding, how he can make that fit into his new scheme. And he's doing a really great job now of getting practice at it and perfecting that before he starts facing, the Monroes, the Newbergs, where that's actually going to come into big play time for him.
Saiga goes in motion, but they'll hand it to Abate up the middle. But again, Middletown has found out the recipe for this run game, and he just gets back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. It's going to be second down in 10 to go. 7.5 minutes left to go. Middletown has scored 3 unanswered touchdowns to reclaim the lead. Take their first lead of the game and their first ever lead of the season against Warwick. Warwick does have a lot of weapons they can go to, but it hasn't really worked out in their favor in this second half as Lukovic drops back to pass. Over the middle of the seam, looking for Lasaiga, and he has it complete. Caught at the 30. A huge pitching catch between Lukovic and Lasaiga. And they're into Middletown territory, marked down at the 28-yard line with 6:45 left to go. And they're going to hurry it up on the offense. They're already back down at the line of scrimmage, ready to go. Lukovic, hand up the middle to Abate. He has a crease, and it's a gain of 5, dragged down from behind by number 44. Tayshawn Pelham. Gain of 6. Middletown seems to have a little bit of a spark after that huge passing play. And Lasaiga finally gets involved in the offense. It's going to be a QB keep. Lukovic bounces it out to the outside. Was one missed tackle away from breaking off a touchdown run, but Andy Aristine with the shoestring tackle to keep Lukovic from breaking a huge play.
Yeah, great shoestring tackle there indeed, because that would have been not really good to have that at this particular point in the game, but still enough time if they needed to capitalize.
Lukovic, as a sophomore, was a wide receiver for this Warwick team. Handoff, Abate up the middle, stuffed in the backfield, gain of 1. Actually, no, he's just going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing for him on that. 5 minutes, 30 seconds left to go to the end of regulation. Middletown leads 21-13 over the Warwick Wildcats. But Warwick in the red zone for the second time in the second half. The last time they were here, it was a huge back-and-forth battle between the offense and defense. Another QB sneak. Lukovic bounces out left to the wide, and he finally gets dragged down on the outside there by Andrew Smith. And Andy Arnstein out wide there. But Lukovic being patient, using that defensive line to find the holes in the defense. He broke it out wide left. And again, 2 defenders from Middletown keeping Lupkovic at bay, because had he broke that tackle, he would have been off to the races and into the end zone. Now it's 3rd and 5 from the 13. 4.5 minutes left to go. Abate up the middle, charging ahead. Gets a gain of 2 on the play. Going to be spotted at the 11 for Warwick. And it's going to be 4th and a bit to go. 4th and about 5 on the play.
The Middies defensive line has definitely had a major improvement since last week's game. In my opinion, they've been able to, again, do exactly what we mentioned earlier in the game, earlier in the broadcast, which was gap integrity, staying home, and getting good penetration, as well as defending the run game. And they've done all of those things here today.
And I'd be careful. Look for these matchups. Middletown and Coach Stringfield going to take a timeout. Excuse me, Warwick's going to take a timeout. And they're down to their last timeout of the game. Only have 1 left for the remainder of this game, which is 3 minutes, 57 seconds. But we have a minute break. We're going to go to a short break of our own. You're listening to Middletown High School Football here on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
The Hudson Valley's greatest hits.
The songs that last a lifetime.
World-famous Wall Radio.
Be part of the moment. Wall Radio brings you Middletown High School football. Every drive, every highlight. Sponsored today. Email us at hello@wallradio.com. Wall Radio, home to the Mitty Bears. Middletown High School varsity football.
The Middies are in action. Catch the play-by-play all season here on Wall Radio.
And welcome back as Warwick is getting ready for this 4th down play, which could be a huge way in deciding the momentum for the rest of this game. Lasaika goes in motion. Lupkovic drop back to pass, rolling out to his right, has a ton of field in front of him. He's going to pick up the first down, skipper all the way down to the 1-yard line.
And that was odd there. There was a wall of Middie defenders, and he was still able to split the defense and get an extra 3 yards.
I was wondering what they were going to do. You had to assume they were going to pass, but you kind of commend the secondary for not getting burned there on that play to give up the big play. But then again, you saw Lupkovic's secondary threat with his legs getting out into open space. And now Warwick's going to hard charge, probably going to be a QB sneak up the middle. They snap the ball, but I think it's going to be a false start as they rush themselves a little bit too much.
False start on the offense, number 6. That's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Quentin Lasaiga with the penalty right there, one of their star receivers, the senior. The transfer from Monticello, actually played at Monticello last year, and what a huge transfer he's been for Warwick so far. He's been their leading receiver through 2 games so far, has had a bunch of huge plays in this one so far. But that's going to back Warwick up to the 6. 3 minutes, 10 seconds in counting left to go in the 4th quarter. Lupkovic gets the snap. They hand it up the middle to Abate, but he's dropped in the backfield. Nowhere to go. That's Graziano Di Giorgio on the stop in the backfield. Huge play by the defensive lineman.
You don't hear too much about players kind of in high school transferring as much as you do, at a collegiate level or...
Yeah, it kind of sounds like we're on a college broadcast.
Yeah. Transferring into the section as well. Sometimes you hear them go with prep or private.
I mean, Middletown's kind of sounds like a school I own, and this is not good.
Timeout, Warwick.
Warwick's going to have to burn their last timeout of the quarter, which, depending on how this drive goes right here, could be crucial because there's only 2.5 minutes left to go in this game. And if they score, they're going to have to go for the 2-point conversion. But if they get stopped, you almost think that Middletown, if they get the ball back with under 2.5 minutes left to go, they can just run the play clock. They can just run the game out if they get a stop here.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be Middletown's MO right now, is to get a stop, gain possession, and then just ride the clock out. Just keep burning it, keep the ball on the ground, keep the clock rolling, and close out this game with a win.
And to me, it also seems like Warwick's kind of philosophy changed. They had a lot of big plays. I know that was sparked by Abate, and it seems like Middletown kind of shackled him. I feel like only really one big pass play. You haven't seen them run a lot of screens. It seems like they kind of phoned it in here in this second half, trying to run the clock out.
Yeah, I think that was maybe their approach. Maybe they thought that they'd have a different outcome on the scoreboard, so maybe that's why their philosophy shifted. But again, you're right. You know, they're shutting down their run game has definitely been a plus for Middletown, but definitely a minus for Warwick. So to see what they do and how they go back to whether they're going to go to the air.
2.5 minutes left to go. Lukovic rolls out left, looking, end zone, pressured, back, and it's incomplete, falls to the turf. And it's a turnover on downs. Andrew Smith with the coverage on the play there. And Middletown will take over in their own territory, backed up deep. Now, we talked about how they can... That was not a fourth down. I completely misread the situation. It's actually third down, 2 minutes, 22 seconds left to go. But nonetheless, a huge defensive stop there by Middletown, by Andrew Smith to deflect that pass. The receiver Lukovic was looking to throw to was double covered, but it's been scary all day because there's been a lot of pass interferences. Fake the handoff to Abate, but Lukovic is bottled up in the backfield, taken down by number 81. Andre Morrow, but there is a flag as well, and it looks like it's going to be holding on Warwick, but I think Coach Strenfeld is going to decline.
Holding on the offense, number 53. That penalty's declined. It's fourth down.
Huge stop there. We talked about how Middletown wasn't able to come up clutch earlier in this game on the big defensive stops, but they have come up huge here, and they have been able to get only stops on this last drive,
which has been really incredible to see. And I think that is going to be the precipice of their entire season, right? Maybe it's a little bit of a slow start, but eventually they're going to pick it up and close out games in great fashion.
Fourth down from the 8-yard line. It's touchdown or bust for Warwick here. Lukovic rolls out to his left, has room to run. He's going to take off, met at the goal line, and stopped just short. It's going to be a turnover on downs, and Middletown assumes possession.
Great effort there by the Wildcats. You know, Luke Popovich has been doing a good job of trying to utilizing his feet a little bit more in the second half. He tried having a good attempt there, and unfortunately he came up just short. But even better job there by the Middletown defense, recognizing that they are going to go to that.
Officials timeout for an injury.
And it seems like Lukovic is down on the field right now. He just got up, but he laid his body out on the line there, trying to go full send to at least give Warwick the opportunity to try to come back and tie it up. But again, Middletown's defense holds strong there, and a huge fourth down stop. But on the flip side, we talk about they can run the clock out, but they're backed up to their own 3-yard line, so they have to be extremely careful.
Exactly. If I'm Middletown right now, I probably just would be looking to get 2 to 3 really long runs right now just to keep it on the ground, and then hopefully that can get me to at least the 20-yard line where I can coast for the rest of the game.
And you kind of want them to get a little bit of a chunk play here, because that also spells trouble if they're not able to move the ball for the punt team. We've already had one special teams miscue with Warwick earlier in the game, and that gave Middletown the opportunity to kind of claw back in the huge momentum shift for Middletown. And it seems like Anthony Russo, he's going to line up under center, 3 running backs in the backfield. They're going to hand it off to Tinsley, it looks like, and he scampers. A lot of good moves there. Excuse me, that was Andy Arnstein on the handoff. Could not see the number, but already off to a great start there for Middletown with a gain of 10 on that carry. So that's going to get us to 1 minute, 30 seconds and counting here. Play clock at 28.
And I think one more of those, I think that should definitely seal the deal for Middletown.
Yeah, if they get one more playoff or one more first down, well, Warwick has no timeout, so they can't stop the clock to try to get it back and tie it up. And yeah, they're already in victory formation down on the field for Middletown. Anthony Russo gets the snap. He takes the knee. And that brings it down to second down. And Warwick, all they can do is watch that clock tick down and think about what could have been, because this game was a battle of really mental mistakes, and maybe one less mistake on either side could have been the reason for a win or a loss.
Absolutely.
40 seconds left to go in the game. Russo snaps it and just simply kneels down. And that will do it. They're going to call it, and Middletown comes away with their first win of the season as they show up victorious, a hard-fought battle. The Middletown Midi Bears get their first win at home over the Warwick Wildcats, 21-13, in a battle that saw them score 21 unanswered points and came from behind. A hard-fought battle here by Middletown, and this speaks volumes for this Middletown team and Coach Strenfeld. They talked about they were excited for this Section 9 game, a little bit more of an even playing field, and they just stuck with their guns, and it was night and day between the first and second half for Middletown.
Absolutely. You know, I'm really proud of this team and what they've been able to accomplish. You know, just more importantly, speaking to the amount of heart that they've had. Like you mentioned, heartfelt game. This is exactly what it was. You know, you come off from a tough loss last week, getting blown out on your home turf, and it's to come back this week and respond in the way with an in-section opponent. You know, this is definitely speaks volumes to what type of team that they have, and it definitely feels that they're gonna have a lot of heart and the ability to do wonderful things here for this season.
And we just want to remind you that the post-game show is coming up after this. So we want to remind you that Wall Radio and the Kate Brennan Show is the place to be on your morning ride into work. But when we come back, we're going to break down this game even more in depth. Again, it's the post-game show coming up. You're listening to Middletown Midi Bears High School Football on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange
Great
County.
service, great staff, great reputation. That's Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating, working hard to maintain the reputation they've built over more than 25 years in business. The Steve Dodd team is your go-to for exceptional service, maintenance, and new installations of heating systems, water heaters, and water pumps. Their experienced, licensed, and insured professionals are here for you. From simple repairs to full renovation. Call 845-386-2217 and have your heating system checked for the season. Steve Dodd Plumbing and Heating. Call today.
You're listening to Middletown High School Football on the Hudson Valley's Wall Radio.
And welcome back here to Fowler Field, down in the campus of Middletown High School, where the Middletown Midi Bears escape with their first win of the season and even their record to 1-1 on the year as they prepare next week for the Erie Bell game in Port Jervis. But before we break that down, let's break this game down again. Hard-fought victory for this Midi Bears team. They did not give up, and that's one of the characteristics of this team that Coach Strenfeld has preached so much, and he talked about it in that interview in the pregame about how even in that game in Rye, we saw it. The team didn't give up on that other, even in that huge blowout loss, and we saw it on the third and fourth quarter. They were cheering on the crowd, and it came off to pay so hard not for them to get down on themselves, and it's a hard-fought victory for the Middletown Midi Bears in week 1.
Yeah, to speak to that, Michael, you know, they've really done a good job of bouncing back. You know, going down 2 scores, you know, down 2 scores in an extra point that was missed by Warwick. That's sort of kind of like, okay, let's see what we're made of right now. And then for them to answer back again just before the half ends, and then to answer back 2 more times, and just once more before the end of the quarter, you know, really speaks to the volume of this team. You know, they may have a shaky start to start, but it's not always about how you start in football. It's always about how you finish.
Yeah, and there was a lot of shaky moments. Middletown giving up a ton of third down and longs, seemingly unable to escape that narrative that they can't get off the field. But then in that fourth quarter, they held strong. Even when Warwick drove down the field, they proved that they can hold strong and that they are tough on the defense. Even Anthony Russo threw 2 interceptions against that tough secondary. But they still came back, they held strong, they did what they needed to do, and they just believed in themselves, and that showed immensely on the field today. But now let's highlight this Warwick team. team and the players down there on the field, because we call their games, but they actually do the hard work. Norris, who do you have for your player of the game?
Our player of the game is definitely going to be for Middletown's Andy Arstein, number 7. He played an incredible game. Again, I wish I had the stats on him, but he was a part of Middletown, one of Middletown's touchdowns today, had some really big explosive runs, and was just able to just do what he kind of wanted in some instances. You know, he was able to bounce it outside. He was able to be involved in the pass. He was able to be involved a little bit on the defense, but overall, he just had a tremendous game, and I'm really happy to see and proud of to see where he's able to take this season.
Yeah, it was great, because in the first game, it was the Raheem Tinsley show, and in this game, it was the Andy Arstein show. That huge touchdown pass, that huge touchdown catch at the end of the second half, a 15-yard dot by Anthony Russo, but Andy Arstein held in strong and muscled his way into the end zone between 2 Warwick safeties at the end of that first half, and that changed the momentum a lot. And then he got a lot of carries. They opened the offense up with him a lot in the second half, threw him a lot of screens, and he made a lot of great things happen when they gave him the ball in open space. And then shout out too to Aiden Barbosa. We didn't call his name a lot, but he had a lot of great plays on the defense, and that crucial 2-point conversion in the back of the end zone, the toe tapper, to kind of seal the deal for this Middletown team.
As well as the interception, even though it wasn't technically the interception.
He did have that interception, but unfortunately it was called back, the offsetting penalties. And I think you have to give props to Anthony Russo as well. Even with the 2 interceptions, he remained poised, and he just shows why he is the quarterback of this Middletown team. But coming up next week, it's the game that everybody looks forward to in this town. It is the Erie Bell game, and they take on crosstown rival Port Jervis, and what a game this is going to set up to be. Even though Port Jervis is a Class B team, they took home the bell last year, and they look to keep that in their possession with the home crowd and the title of defending Class B state championships.
And the fact that it's home, so there's going to be a lot of energy, and I'm really excited to hear about how this is going to pan out, and excited to see how this is going to play out for the Middletown Midi Bears. You know, I can remember times when I was on the bus and we'd be headed to play Port Jervis for the Bell game. You know, just the signs and the fanfare that was on our way. You know, you knew you were in Port territory as soon as you got off the exit, and it was just kind of like, okay, this is real. We're getting ready to go to war now, so let's make sure that we do what we have to do. Let's make sure that we're sound, so that way we can take home this belt for the program.
Exactly, and I feel like this team, with a win under their belt now, has a great opportunity, boost the confidence, and they're going to have a hard week of practice because Coach Strenfeld knows he can be tough on this team. But that will do it for us in the booth here. I'm Michael Palumbo, and joined alongside me was Norris, Gipson, and we brought to you today Middletown Midi football here on Fowler Field. And Middletown got their first win of the over Warwick, defeating them 21-13. And this has been Middletown Midi Bear High School Football on Wall Radio, presented by the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Council of Orange County.
The Hudson Valley's greatest hits. Wall Radio. Hudson Valley.